I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Players. I know it's a Monday, and I know it's damn near 5 o'clock on the East Coast, but we're here for y'all. We're here for y'all.
You're not kidding. I mean, this is a big sacrifice. I'm not sure what time the Knicks game starts, but let's put it this way, Adobe, you better make it short enough so I catch the whole thing. That's all I can say.
Is this what we meant by this might be the most consequential
Right.
Adobe Summit opening keynote in a decade because they're keeping us from sporting activities?
That's right. They interrupt the Knicks game, and I will promise you they will not hear good things from me.
Anyway, we are here because it is Adobe Digital Summit. Last week, we were, for the first time, we did a watch party keynote watch party. Have there ever been a watch party keynote? I don't think so.
Well, that's another possible show for us.
We were here, and actually, it was a really interesting first time keynote for a company that we had never really covered before. We had never even thought about covering, but now we thought they were moving upstream, but after the keynote, it didn't really feel like they were moving upstream a whole lot.
I mean, well, again, great article by Phil Wainwright on Diginomica about Canva's enterprise moves, and he makes a better case than they do. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, so if you want to check out that, we've got a link out on LinkedIn. We even have a little clip where we all went around and talked about what our first impressions were, and that was you, me, the Brohammer, our buddy Chanel Wheeler, who is a designer extraordinaire, and the one and only Liz Miller, who is our official CRM Playaz in-room correspondent, and she will be doing her correspondent duties in a little bit for Adobe Summit. But anyway, we have a new crew of folks that are joining us for this, and you guys should. I think we've had both of these guys on it.
Oh yeah, they've both been on the show before.
Let's go with the retail dude, Mr. Hey, that's actually a pretty good nickname. We could just start calling him the retail dude. Michael Klein, a former Adobe guy. Hey, Michael.
Hey, guys. Good to see you.
Good to have you, man. This will be good.
Yeah, yep. And also one of our buddies who we see about 5 or 6 times a year, usually at these kind of events. I don't have a nickname for him yet. I got to really work on that because, people like my nicknames for whatever reason. But he is Keith Kirkpatrick. I almost said Kirkpatrick, but
the nickname in high school was Irish. See if you can figure it out.
Well, yeah. Gee,
my last name is Leary, dude. So
there you go. Let's confuse the heck out of people.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for joining us, man. I don't think I've seen you. Well, have I seen you somewhere this year? I can't remember. I don't think so.
I feel like we did sometime, but who knows?
That could be blurring into years past. I don't know what it is, but we're glad to see you guys. And before the keynote actually kicks off, why don't we get some first or things that you are looking to see or hear over the next hour or so? I don't know how long this thing is. I hope it is no more than an hour, but who knows? So, Michael, since you are a former Adobe guy, first of all, let me ask you this. How consequential, how important is this Summit keynote compared to others? And then tell us what you want to see.
Well, the first thing is that this is going to be probably the last time we hear from Shantanu. He has stepped down. He's not left the building yet because I believe he's going to be there until they find his successor. But I'd expect that they're going to have somebody within the next 12 months. So this should officially be his last summit. And I remember, because I was part of the Omniture acquisition, I just remember the first summit, which was first an Adobe event, an Omniture event, and him and Josh James were up on stage. So talk about oil and water on the same stage at the same time. which was back in 2010. So I've been on a few of the sessions already today because they started broadcasting this morning. And, no surprise, it's agentic, agent to agent. So, I'm hoping to hear a reality check in what actually is practical, feasible, and not just product marketing speak.
Okay.
Cool. Keith, I see are you at the Palazzo?
I am in the Venetian, whatever
Venetian.
tower.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the rooms look exactly
exactly
all
the same
the
thing.
Sometimes I don't know where I am. Yeah, I would echo everything Michael said, and also add one thing I'm really looking for, and I believe a lot of folks are really looking at, how is Adobe actually delivering value to their customers? We hear about this agentic this and agentic that, but what I want to really hear are stories about, hey, as a customer, we were actually able to deliver real financial impact from using this, because that's one of the big things that I think is hurting Adobe and really a lot of SaaS companies is they're investing a lot of money and they're looking at it and going, well, what are we getting out of this? Is this just something that's going to deliver value in X number of quarters out, or are we actually going to start to see results now? I think people are getting a little impatient. They're wondering whether or not this whole story of this nirvana of all of these agents talking to different agents, is that actually delivering value? So I'm waiting to hear a little bit more about that. And I guess the other thing I'm obviously curious about is what can we expect to see over the next 12 months in terms of a vision, given that the leadership question is still out there. I talked to some folks last week at Canva, and other analysts and other folks in the industry, and there is a big question about where what does this mean? What does Shantanu's departure really mean for not only Adobe but where the market is headed?
Mr. G.
Well, I mean, Adobe's, Adobe, how would I put this? Adobe's kind of at a real notable point. One, Shantanu is stepping down, and he's pretty much been not just the face, but to everyone else's point, the core of the company for the last, was it 16 or so years, 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is. One. Two is, when it's come to AI, they're way behind the pack at this point. They've been, I mean, the irony of Adobe is that the good AI they have is, generative, and it's individual, right? It's a B2C kind of level of AI for creators. But they're at absolute best, middle of the pack when it comes to AI. Nobody's really seeing them as, they've got some, to their credit, they've got a couple of partnerships here and there that are valuable to that, but they're really not doing much. Their stock price is a wreck, so the company's at a point of real uncertainty at this point, as far as I can see. That said, they still are the Adobe of, digital marketing and digital experience and content creation and the content supply chain and the journey optimization technologies they have. So they do have some real, important and valuable pieces. Maybe they're not AI pieces per se, but look, ultimately they're going to have to prove what they're going to do with AI. And to both your points, practicality is one thing. You can make all the damn claims you want about agentic. I have yet to see a single word about agentic ever about Adobe. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the keynote. And two is, from Keith's standpoint, yeah, okay, maybe you'll end up saying you're going to deliver that, but practically, what's the actual value of what you're delivering? So, we'll see. I'm TBD on where I think they're going. I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. Let's just say that. Brent, what do you think?
Okay, so I've said a lot about what I thought on a lot of different shows. So I'm going to do a little different thing. I actually went to, I went to Gemini, I went to ChatGPT, and I went to Claude with the same prompt. Given the sinking stock price, the overall SaaS apocalypse framing, The resignation of Shantanu. How important is the opening keynote for Adobe Summit? Let me just run quickly through some of these answers. Jim and I said, given the confluence of events I described, the opening keynote for Adobe Summit isn't just a product showcase. It's a referendum on the company's survival in the AI first era. If the keynote doesn't land with a clear, authoritative vision for how Adobe wins in the agentic era, the downward pressure on the stock will likely intensify, and the board may feel forced to look at an outsider CEO. That's Gemini still. Now we're getting to Claude. Claude says, it was genuinely fascinating. Why does Claude feel like it's got to butter me up?
Oh, no, listen, man.
It's just a question.
All
Not that great.
adjectives.
But it says the keynote is happening today. Yeah, we know that too. Is arguably one of the most consequential in Adobe's recent history. The stakes are exceptionally high. Adobe stock has been crushed. Yeah, we've seen that. Investors deeply skeptical about whether the company can thrive in the AI era. It's a narrative crisis. Where is Alan Berkson when you need him?
Right. I know.
That's what Claude is saying. Another piece of Claude that I thought was interesting. The core fear is that agentic AI could undermine per seat software pricing, which is precisely the model Narayan built. Remember, he's the one that shepherded in the subscription era. He did a great job with it, by the way. Because I remember all the criticism that people were saying that it came through without really any troubles. But now we are in this agentic AI era, and the pricing is kind of up for grabs. Claude also says they got to reframe that AI narrative. Adobe needs to show its beneficiary of AI disruption, not a victim. There's some commonalities between Claude and Gemini, and now ChatGPT says it's existentially important for narrative control. All of them, you notice there's a common theme. They're all the narrative. Adobe has lost that narrative in the AI agentic era. So they need to find a way to put it back into play during this keynote, according to these things. And then a couple of last points here. Adobe has caught the broader SaaS. You got to remember that. It's not just them. It is a broader thing going on. A defense of the SaaS model in an AI world. They have to kind of present that in the keynote. They missed that, and the SaaS apocalypse framing sticks. What do you guys have to say about any of that?
Well, I mean, it's probably a little apocalyptic, right? In terms of the way they're doing every one of them. Of course, I like Claude's way of framing it best, just because I like Claude best. But the thing is that they're not wrong. But to make a claim like Adobe must prove it can win agentic, it didn't say win it said win the agentic AI war, so to speak. That's not happening. First of all, it's just not going to be the case. But secondly, I don't think Adobe is going to crash, burn, and go under. They're already. The one point I do agree with is they are losing some narrative control right now too, because there are a lot of companies that are like companies like Canva. Well, Canva's nowhere near that.
Yeah.
But companies like that kind of company who are doing the death by 1,000 byte kind of approach to things, and I think it's going to hurt Adobe if they don't really come out strong today.
You also got to look at Claude. I mean, look at the announcement last week around Claude Designer. That thing is taking a lot of steam from a lot of different companies.
Well, I think the one thing that Adobe really needs to make clear, whether it's in the keynote or in subsequent weeks, months, is that they're designing, the platform to really serve as a platform that is going to allow for orchestration of agents, not only their own, third-party agents, homegrown agents, in a way where you're not going to have issues around, one agent, agentic system losing context, where you're not going to have a situation where, some agents are deprecated versus others. I think that's something they were talking about a little bit before in an analyst session, and they agree it's hard work, but they need to figure that out, because otherwise they just become another vendor, another platform layer that wants a piece. I think the only one, the companies that are going to win are going to be the ones that can actually figure out that puzzle of really managing this multi-agentic world that we are eventually going to be moving into.
Hey, I want to do a quick shout out to Shashi Bellamkonda, our buddy, who I think is actually in the room. Hey, Shashi, any comments, anything you want to share while you're in there? Just put them in the comments, and we'll make sure we get them up there. So,
Yeah, one last thing to Keith's point I do want to say is that's one place where Adobe actually has a little bit of strength already, because they have been developing different alliances with some of the other companies like ServiceNow, and of course they've had Microsoft for a long time, and several others. So that kind of, be a bit open in terms of interacting with other agentic frameworks. The opportunity, they have some basis for that. So that's, if they power up on that area, they could come at us pretty well.
all right. So it's saying it doesn't look like it started on their YouTube channel, which is what I was planning on, unless it's at some other.
No, you need to have registered.
Oh,
I have it
really?
on my, yeah.
It says it's scheduled for. Why would they schedule it on their YouTube channel? And then, all right, well, let me see if I can quickly register. That doesn't make any sense to me, but
all right. Yeah.
You guys keep talking, and I will see what I can do real quick.
So, Michael, you got anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, the one thing that I would add to this is, in terms of the future, is the challenge that I see them having with the monetization of their AI. And, Adobe has never been a inexpensive proposition. And the other side of it is, we always had this joke inside in terms of sales that, nobody ever got fired by buying Adobe, right? But keeping Adobe and keeping the value is always the big challenge, and showing that there is an ROI on it. And, when folks are already paying a premium for the product, how do they monetize this when there is, I think, an expectation that you're going to provide AI in the tools that I already have? So I think that's part of the challenge.
All right, I think I got it. So I'm going to turn the sound on and let her rip. Let's see, I hope it isn't too loud.
Whether it's the internet, the smartphone, the mobile revolution, the cloud.
So this is Anil Chakravarti opening things up.
Adobe has helped you harness.
That's different, right? Usually Shantanu did that.
Identify prospects, acquire new customers, engage and delight your customers.
So
grow customer loyalty,
my memory isn't that great.
your customer lifetime value.
I believe he did last year.
For us, it started with digital marketing. This was a category that Adobe created with the acquisition of Omniture and the launch of Adobe Analytics. We led the market for web content management with Adobe Experience Manager, Adobe Campaign for email marketing, and Adobe Target for optimization. And we continue to innovate in all of these areas. Our products provide the critical foundation for digital marketing today. Take the Super Bowl, for example.
So wait, if I'm taking bets, this is not the next guy.
You all do for the big game is just awesome. And here are a few stats.
I didn't ask the LLMs who the betting favorite is. So I need to think about that.
More than 8 billion analytics server calls.
I think what Lonnie would be.
21 million concurrent viewers.
Well, he is the Creative Cloud guy.
24 million page views.
Yeah.
As well as 1.5 million
Him
video
and
requests
Shantanu
per
have been
minute.
together a lot longer.
And we support such scale.
Yeah, he left for a few years, didn't he?
Olympics,
Yeah,
March
he's a
Madness,
boomerang.
tax season that we just had, back to school, and of course the holidays. In the mid-2010s, we helped you harness the power of cloud infrastructure, real-time data platforms.
Looks like
and
Bernie
digital
agrees
AI.
with you, Michael. He's not the
The
next guy.
distinction between digital marketing and digital experience.
By the way, hello, Bernie.
Experience
Thanks for joining
began
us.
to blur. Digital marketing expanded to customer experience management. And our products enabled you to connect the end-to-end customer experience.
Better be a good
across
punchline on
content,
this, otherwise you're just
data, and
reminiscing.
security. Apps like Adobe Marketer Engage for B2B marketing automation, Adobe Commerce for digital stores and marketplaces,
Michael, I'm just curious. Why do you say he's not the next guy?
System of record. Then in 2019, we launched Adobe
I
Experience.
don't think he's got the vision. I don't think he's
to help you deliver
strong
real-time
enough as a
connected
leader.
experiences. We built native apps on AEP for all of your customer engagement needs. Adobe Real-Time
And Wadwan, do you think
to unify
would be the right
for
guy?
audiences and segmentation.
Well, we talked
Adobe
about this,
Customer
I think,
Journey
on
Analytics.
one of your other.
Connect online and offline.
I think somebody
touchpoints.
needs to come in from the
Real-time
outside
insights.
that's got an AI focus,
And Adobe
and
Journey
not
Optimizer
somebody
to
that's just been
orchestrate and
inside
deliver
and
personalized experiences across all
same old,
channels.
same old.
Well, I think that
Today,
they're probably looking outside of the name
has
one.
become indispensable in our customers' digital stack. And we're
Well, if they want to change the narrative, it might help to have somebody from
profile
outside to
and
help
over
them change it.
35 trillion segment evaluations per day. Now, in total, the platform powers over 1 trillion experiences per year across the globe. You couldn't ask for a better foundation for agentic AI.
There you go.
So speaking of agentic, it's already been
By the way,
transformational in so many ways.
Wow.
We see it in our
The
daily
other
lives
is not going to be
with
CEO.
ChatGPT, Claude,
Speaking of
Copilot,
agentic.
Gemini, and more. And that's true for all of the work that you all do now to orchestrate customer experiences. Without a doubt, we are at a defining moment. The playbook for identifying prospects and acquiring, engaging, and developing loyalty with customers is changing rapidly and dramatically. Customer experience orchestration in the era of AI.
I think Jensen's already got a job there, Bernie.
It requires the technology
I don't know if he's gonna be the
foundation and
next
expertise
guy.
that we've built together over time. And strong vision and innovation across AI-powered systems, agents, skills, and tools, as well as a comprehensive ecosystem around it. Now, we want to earn the right to be your trusted partner as you become an agentic enterprise and help you harness the power of AI to deliver personalized experiences to all of your customers. So let's begin that journey. Let's begin to tell you how we do that. To share more about Adobe's vision.
Hey, shout out, Pierre. Thanks for joining us,
really
man.
Excited to welcome Adobe's Chair and CEO, Shantanu Narayan. Shantanu?
It's not me.
This might be the last one of these for him, huh?
Thank you,
There
Anil.
it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Summit. For over 40 years, Adobe's reason for being has been to enable people to tell their stories and to create whatever is in their mind's eye. More than 1 billion people have used our products over that time across every visual modality, breathing life into ideas.
That's a pretty big
products,
statement when you think
brands,
about it.
marketing,
1 billion different
campaigns,
people use your product,
experiences,
have
and
used your
businesses.
product.
And our evolution as a company reflects the
Can you imagine
expanding role of
Microsoft's numbers?
creativity across
No.
every industry. But what's remained constant from the origins of
40
Postgres
years.
to our latest AI innovations is our ongoing commitment to build systems that connect, empower, and inspire.
PageMaker and
Today, as
Doom.
we enter a new creative era with AI, our
Remember when they
mission,
bought Macromedia?
empowering everyone to create, I think is more relevant than ever. It's grounded in this belief that we have that tools don't create, people do. And it's our privilege to empower all of you to create the experiences that matter to you. In this era, we're delivering on even greater value set of our customers directly in the workflows where ideas are created, where this content is produced, where documents are executed, and even more important, where these customer experiences are both orchestrated and delivered. Think about it. Every student, business professional, and small business is looking for quick and easy AI-powered applications to help them stand out. Every creator and creative professional is looking for power and precision to easily bring their creative visions to life across any media type and surface. And marketing professionals, digital practitioners, technologists, and business owners are all
I'm
looking
guessing Jensen is going to come
create,
be introduced
deliver,
by
and personalize
Shantanu, I
content
guess.
at scale across every channel in a way that inspires
They-
loyalty.
They
It
should have
drives
some kind of
lifetime
conversation.
value, and elevates your brand at every
More
interaction.
enterprise messaging now.
It's this customer-focused approach that informs every facet of our AI strategy and is the North Star, frankly, that motivates all of our employees
Jen's
to
going to
invent
have
the
his
future
leather
with every
jacket
one of you.
uniform on.
He wouldn't be leave home without it,
The
like his
moment
credit
when
card.
Creativity and marketing are being reshaped by AI, unlocking incredible new opportunities and raising the bar for speed, for personalization, as well as for scale. And for the first time, if you think about it, AI gives us this fundamental way to overcome the fear of the blank page. New surfaces like AI chatbots and agentic browsers are helping us create and consume content quicker than ever before. Conversational interfaces across these multiple media generation models that have been created further democratize creative workflows. But every channel, every device, every media type demands more creative assets, higher, faster quality, and at a greater scale than ever before. And for enterprises, these same shifts open new channels where they have to acquire and engage customers, while the new AI co-workers and agents will automate inefficient processes and deliver these successful outcomes at scale. But speed is not enough. The bar for creative differentiation and customer engagement impact has risen exponentially. And so in this crowded landscape, brands must stand out, they must connect emotionally, and build the kind of loyalty and lifetime value.
Okay,
that
so far
will
this
sustain their business.
hasn't really moved the
That's
needle.
why we believe at Adobe that creative control
They're
is
missing the
more
hallmark
important
around
than
safety,
ever before.
enterprise
When you
grade.
think about brand consistency, IP
I'll tell you,
protection,
really, if
connected
it was
asset
smart,
management, they
they
move
think
from
that
best practices to
content supply
absolutely
chain and
business
talk
critical
agentic air.
requirements.
That's literally
And so winning
the
isn't just about
background for
producing
every
the
single
most content.
facet of the
It's
company and what
actually
they
about
do.
producing the right
So far, I
content
hear
on
nothing
brand
toward
at scale and delivered in a way that feels
He took
personal
out
and
the word
connected
agentic.
at every
This is
single
like
touch point.
the same thing he's been
And so it
saying for the
requires
past
us
few years
to
anyway.
unify creativity, marketing, and AI across the entire content lifecycle, from ideation to creation to personalization, orchestration, and finally measurement.
And what about delivery?
For Adobe, everything starts with the users of our products. From the earliest days of Photoshop to the groundbreaking advancements that we will unveil here, Adobe is always focused on enabling individuals to turn ideas into impact. And people want to think in stories, to work across media types, to move faster and shrink the distance between imagination and creation. We believe that creativity
So
is
far,
the
it
new
sounds a lot
productivity
like the last several
as
years.
communications are becoming even
Also
more
sounds a lot
expressive
like Adobe
and
Max.
visual.
Yeah.
It's why
Without
Adobe,
the
we're
energy,
investing
though.
in AI to both imagine new possibilities
Oh, that's
as
the
well
thing.
as
This is not a
accelerate how you
B2C
get
audience
things done in the
particularly.
applications that you know and love, all while maintaining control.
Think about what we saw at the Canva
of the
Create
vision and your end goals.
in their audience, and
When you need to get
I haven't heard
something
a
out
peep yet
quickly
so
without
far.
sacrificing quality,
It's
Adobe
this,
Acrobat
again, this
and
is
Adobe
not,
Express
that's,
enable you to create
this is an
anywhere,
individual
collaborate
creator.
seamlessly, and publish to any channel. Our new Adobe Firefly,
But there was
it's an
life.
AI-first
I mean, there was
creative
some
studio,
energy in
which
there.
will support your
Speaking to
end-to-end creative process.
So he's speaking to
Deep Firefly integration into our core Creative Cloud applications, including Photoshop, Illustrator, and Premiere, empower everyone, regardless of expertise,
I
to
mean,
generate
Shantanu
this
is not going
compelling
to be
content
somebody
seamlessly
that's going
and to activate it with confidence.
to
And
get
so
the
our
crowd
vision
down.
remains the same, to deliver the most
I'm kind of looking
comprehensive creative
towards
platform. From
Jensen
ideation,
to help
generation,
with them
semantic
to
as
be
well
able to
as
tell a
pixel
narrative.
perfect,
Jensen needs to
precision
help
editing,
all the
to
enterprise SaaS
production and
companies
delivery across
tell that
every
narrative, because
single
they
surface.
haven't done a really good job with it so far.
At the other end of the spectrum,
And
AI
he
is
really
fundamentally
needs them to do
transforming
well.
how businesses operate.
Oh, here we go.
Conversations are increasingly happening in LLM surfaces, and these new channels are opening fresh opportunities for every one of you to both acquire and engage customers. As AI agents become an additional important interface between businesses and consumers, they're also reshaping both product discovery as well as purchase and commerce behavior. So now it's not just about engaging customers. You also have to engage the agents acting on behalf of your customers and design experiences for both of them. And so this shift is putting brands under tremendous pressure to deliver more personalized content faster across every channel. And we believe that the enterprises that will win are the ones that are running their own proprietary customized enterprise models with their own data and their own content, which enables them to turn their brand knowledge into results at scale. To compete, enterprises must think about their new enterprise digital stack to be digital first as well as agent ready. And at Adobe, much like we did with inventing the digital marketing category and digital experience management, Adobe's vision for customer experience orchestration in this new agentic era is to empower enterprises to navigate this new landscape with confidence. We want to help you build on your existing infrastructure, your existing investments, but to move with speed and flexibility. And our approach is grounded in this belief that the flexibility and choice should not come at the expense of trust, governance, as well as brand integrity. And so we're advancing industry standards like content authenticity with provenance technologies, including content credentials, to help make sure that we build trust in all the digital.
He might get a more lively. I don't know if he'll get a better.
Our agentic system will bring together best-of-breed AI-based solutions for the critical areas of the entire content supply chain through a new innovative.
Go ahead.
I'm looking and listening to Shantanu, and part of me thinks he's already
through
checked out.
AI apps.
And this is just
it'll ensure brand visibility across every channel through AEM and our agentic web offerings.
I mean, it's basically so far every.
Well, AI can generate images, it can draft documents, or suggest campaigns.
Actually doing.
It is actually Adobe's ability to integrate these capabilities to empower people.
Well, he usually is more of a table setter.
Okay, and governance
damn table
that we think will deliver the real business outcome.
But this is kind of his style, like
Across all of these audiences, Adobe's differentiated approach to AI reflects our belief that creativity is a uniquely human trait. And we believe that AI has the power to both assist and amplify human ingenuity and enhance productivity. And so we're giving you choice and flexibility to use the best
has the narrative
the job within Adobe applications without the
changed
friction of having to switch between
based on what we've seen so
platforms.
far?
Not yet.
Firefly now offers our own commercially safe models and over 30 leading partners, including Google, OpenAI.
These keynotes are so important to nail, and
11 Labs.
Doesn't feel like it's moved the needle yet at all.
AI modalities, including models, agents, co-workers, conversational interfaces.
1 and 2 is
all
most keynotes
customized
that
for
we
your
hear
use.
these days don't really nail it.
As AI transitions from this
and usually
feature-based tools,
usually
to
he's
more
usually
conversational
on for
and
about
intuitive
5 to
systems,
10 minutes,
we will
and then he
continue to
brings on,
leverage
and then
our
they get
deep
into
domain
meat.
expertise
Like I said, I think he does a
and
decent job with the
contextual
table
brand and
setting, but
engagement with
this
Firefly
keynote needs to be
Foundry
more than
and
just a
custom
table
models
setter.
that create
Well, that's
solutions
the
that
thing.
are not just smarter and more relevant, but are aligned with the unique needs of each one of your businesses. Finally, with the growing AI adoption, there's a proliferation of technologies across models, platforms, and workflows. And we need ecosystems that are open,
there we go.
interoperable, built on a shared infrastructure, and designed around how work actually gets done. The customer experience orchestration category is built for multi-agent collaboration across the end-to-end content lifecycle. And we believe that that will deliver a better experience for customers, as well as a better outcome for businesses. We're expanding our collaboration with leading AI platforms and infrastructure players. And we're thrilled also to partner with the global agencies and SIs to serve every industry, including financial services, healthcare, media and entertainment, and travel
I
and
was just
hospitality.
thinking what Bernie said,
And we're
because
committing to help you
how
achieve
powerful would it have been if
AI
like, there was like a
transformation at
passing of the
scale,
baton on
empowering
stage here,
the next trillion
and get
experience.
somebody out here that's like
Because
really
ultimately,
gonna
we
pump
think
up
that an open and
talk
interoperable
about the
system
future.
built around real-world workflows in service is what everybody needs. And when tools, data, and content move seamlessly, you can focus on doing your best work, which is bringing ideas to life and delivering experiences that matter. Thank you again for joining us this week. We look forward to the conversations, we look forward to the interactions and shared insights over the next few days.
This just doesn't feel
together to chart this
like
new
what
AI
they
future,
need. They need a little bit more here.
as well as customer experience orchestration. You know, when the world talks about AI and innovation, the company that first
here we
comes
go.
to mind is NVIDIA.
Perfect timing. They need this.
Few figures have shaped the trajectory of modern technology as profoundly as Jensen.
How about in cleanup?
When I saw those logos, it was kind of interesting. They're really playing Switzerland. You had, Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft,
The architect of the
Open,
AI infrastructure that's
and
powering
Anthropic.
virtually every
They
industry.
definitely don't want to
My
piss
friend
anybody
Jensen
off. Or
has proven
it
that
seems like they
visionary
want to just be
persistence
Switzerland to
and
everything.
relentless
Yeah.
innovation
I
can
think
change the
Jensen's
world.
only flaw is he needs
And
a better
I'm
joke
incredibly
writer.
pleased to once again welcome Jensen to
jokes
the
are-
Adobe Summit stage.
Wow, no handoff, like no physical handshake or
Oh, it's the Adobe video that somebody spent a lot of time building.
Well, they really should say that they didn't spend any time building,
I watched I popped in and out of a whole bunch of sessions, and a lot of them were pre-recorded or on demand that were showing as live.
wow.
And one thing that just smacked me was everybody had a different background. Like, you're Adobe. Why don't you have like a nice, consistent background for
Yeah,
everybody?
that's part of their strength that they've always historically.
Yeah.
They did that.
One guy in his kitchen, and one guy was a woman was in her living room, and
boy.
it was all over the place.
Maybe they think that's authentic.
This is a really long video entry.
And Jensen, Jensen not even going to come out. That was him. We saw him already.
Please welcome Jensen Wang.
There we go.
I like the
He's
video.
got a new jacket.
Like it too.
Apparently, it was made with Adobe software.
There's no question about that. Thank you for joining us. As you can see, Jensen is in his usual uniform, which is incredible black leather jacket, and I'm in my uniform.
That's all we have.
That's all we have. That's right. But let me start, Jensen. I mean, so much has been written about what you've done, but at some level, we're both immigrants. And I remember this dinner that we had at Alexander's Steakhouse.
Wow,
I think it was like 25 years ago.
that's pretty luxurious.
Yes.
Who bought? Did you buy? I'm pretty sure you must have bought. That's pretty luxurious restaurant.
It is. It is. But I remember you're talking about, what brought you to this country and love for computers and, then going to Oregon. So maybe just a
Multi-million.
little bit of, the genesis of your love for computing.
Science and math. It was one of those fields that you don't need too many friends for. And if you're locked up in a bedroom, all by yourself most of your life, that's the right field. But it was always my mom and dad's. It was they had the American dream. They wanted to pursue the American dream. They wanted their family to grow up here, and they took the chance and brought us here, just like your parents did. And when you come as an immigrant, obviously you don't have that many friends, and English is and English and the culture and all that. But something about science and math is universal. You could wrap your head around it, and I always loved it. That's it. That's my story. Kind of like yours. You know that all of you know that at the core of creativity and the creative industry is where a great deal of technology were put in service of realizing storytelling. And Shantanu and I both came out of the high performance computing industry, the computer industry. And very few CEOs in the world has computer graphics in their soul, as deeply as Shantanu. And so we share that history.
Questions, Jensen. You're answering this time.
He's doing what he has to do. He needs to
Once a
help them
CEO,
tell the narrative.
But
The two of us fighting to see who's in charge.
I think it was actually 8 years ago on this very stage we had talked about some of the fundamental innovation that NVIDIA was doing, ray tracing. And, when I think about what you have done, you've completely reinvented the company so many times, from the core graphics to PC to scientific computing, deep learning. And now, at CES, when we were talking, you also said about physical objects and innovation. So maybe just a little bit before we get into software, what excites you about what's happening with physical AI innovation and robotics?
Well, ultimately, the vast majority of the world is physical. And we want to be able to apply computing really for the first time to some of the largest industries in the world, whether it's life sciences or logistics and manufacturing or transportation. Unless the computer can understand the physical world, there is no chance of enhancing it, no chance of automating it. And we're finally at a time where if you simply realize that if you can go from language to images, images to language, why can't we go from language to chunks of actions, which is articulation? Why can't we go from, camera input to action?
What about lights, camera, action?
Models, just like LLMs, these are VLAs. And so we now have the ability to go directly from one sensory input to direct actioning on the computing system or the physical system. But in order to do that, you have to understand the physical world.
Amazing. So do you believe that every physical object will eventually have a digital representation? Maybe tell us a little bit about the Omniverse and how you see that evolve.
Well, the work that we're doing together is grounded in some of these areas. One, of course, accelerated computing, because everything you do has so much technology component to it. The other part is we need a high fidelity, truthful representation of many of the things that we do in life. And the reason for that is because many of the people in this room are producing products and they're marketing those products, but those products are very specific.
Yep.
That product needs to be precise. The brand identity has to be precise. The design is precise. It's not an approximate representation of the product. And so many of the things that we do needs to have a perfect digital twin. That starting point cannot be negotiable. And from that, of course, we could use generative AI to express it and maybe put it into, activate it in all kinds of different environments. It's in a forest, approximate forest is fine. It's on a mountain, approximate mountain is fine. But the product has to be precise. And so we need a digital representation of that grounded in its most precise representation, which is 3D graphics. And so the work that we do together, creating a structured, precise digital representation of the artifact. It could be a car, it could be a perfume bottle, it could be a purse, it could, whatever it is. But that starting point is really vital. From there, we can then integrate it with generative AI and express our creativity through that.
GTC is such a massive event for you.
Like we're at Adobe Max, and we haven't gotten to digital marketing.
Company will have to think about what it does as an agentic service. Maybe you can just, for the technologists in this room who build their entire businesses on software, how do you see that evolve?
There's different types of
Paul, your audio is
software, as you
a little
know,
off.
Is simply our ability to use structured languages.
I think when you move closer to the mic, it sounds better.
Some of the software is a website. Some of the software, of course,
just going a little in and out there.
But for example, the software I use from you are tools, and these are
I can turn that down.
These are tools for imaging, tools for video, tools for text, tools for all kinds of different things.
How about that?
And so these tools now have a brand new user interface. This new user interface is called artificial intelligence, agentic systems, that allows us to now re-express how we use the tools. We used to use tools by point and click and loading files and dragging down menus. And
right now,
I think my entire vocabulary of Photoshop is probably 7% of its capabilities. Now I have an agentic system that I can put in front of it, and an agentic system that Adobe could create for me that allows it to understand my intentions and fully realize the capabilities of Photoshop, fully represent.
That's a good way to tell the story.
And so the user interface of the future, all the front end of SaaS.
They need to make the enterprise case here a lot better than they're making it. I'll tell you, this is
to interact through
everybody's point. This
directly
is
to the
Adobe
tool if
Max
we like,
at the moment.
through
Yeah,
an agent if we
totally
like,
agree,
in
Paul. I'm not
collaboration if we like. I think it's just a higher level
Even
utilization of tools in a lot of ways.
major
know,
threat,
For
but not
I
hearing
would say for 99.9% of the creators in the world, this is going to elevate your art, no question.
And we certainly believe.
Well,
that
I think
it's because we
if
think
you
it's
look at it
amplified
at a
human
more
intelligence.
higher level, what
One of the
Gigi
things
just
you
said
also
is
talked about there was
people are not going to use
assistants, and
replace
how, this is
enterprise
gonna become
SaaS
the
with
ultimate AI
agents.
assistant.
They're
So,
going to use
maybe-
agents to
and
let
that's
you
what I
use
had.
more
gonna say,
and do
I
more
was
with
really
the
happy
enterprise SaaS
that
than you're
we
already
negotiated
doing.
a site license
That changes.
long before
That's
agents
a little different than
because
the financial
number of
narrative of,
tool
oh,
use
these
inside our
agents are going to
company
take over and
for
some
Adobe
kid in the
is gonna
basement is going to
skyrocket.
code up a ERP
Because-
system
And
and they're
so I
going to
was
throw
smart
out
enough to
SaaS.
negotiate a good
Right.
deal.
But I know that differs from what a lot of companies
That's
are saying now.
I
I
bought
don't hear.
dinner, you bought my software license. I think we're equal right now. I mean,
No, I think it was important for
Realize is that
Jensen
the
to
world
say
is
it
limited by button
and
seats.
to
Now
help
we
them
have
make the
the
argument.
support
They're not
of
making
all
the
kinds of
argument yet.
agents.
You're,
Well,
I mean, you guys are all right.
Inside
I'm just saying, at
companies
least
skyrocketing.
there's somebody there that can start to help them make the argument.
Yeah, it's like that's like Robert Redford with their CMO years ago when he started questioning her when she was on when they were on stage, and
Look,
she was
one of my
got
favorite
confused, and he said, "Look, I'm just
is,
trying to help you out."
and the
Right?
study just came out.
That's
So
pretty much
about
the same
a
thing that's
decade,
going
maybe
on
a dozen
here.
years ago.
Well, this
when
this
computer
definitely
vision
isn't the
first became
conversation I
this is what deep learning-
envisioned
the deep
when I
learning
saw that
intelligence
Jensen was going to be a part of it. But
Computer vision became superhuman.
No, I mean
Very
it's
shortly
interesting.
after,
It's not like I'm
researchers
uninterested in
said
what he's saying. I kind of like
that
it, but it's not what.
Radiology is going to
If
be the
this is
first
as
profession
pivotal
to be
Keynote
wiped
as
out
we're
by AI.
saying it is,
And nobody should be a
Adobe's in
radiologist
trouble.
because every
Right?
single
But if
CT
this is,
scan,
as,
every single
hopefully
radiology
it's not
scan
as
will be
pivotal.
studied by
I hope we're
AI.
wrong
Well,
about that.
and he
years
should say,
later,
if it's as pivotal as ChatGPT, Claude,
Right.
and Gemini
Well,
say,
no, that's apocalyptic. I mean,
radiology is now assisted
if that's the
by
case,
artificial
Adobe's stock price plunges
Computer
to
vision
zero and
is
they go out of business
completely
at the end of this
superhuman.
speech, right?
And
If
the
we
interesting
wait for
thing
the three
is
of
the
them.
number of radiologists that
well,
remain
I don't
up.
see
The reason for that is
what
because
what's going on
the
right now is not
purpose
addressing
versus the
any of that
task
kind of
the
stuff.
job
No,
has to be
it's
separated.
not addressing
The task
a
of
fundamental need of
radiologist includes
what
studying
Adobe's going to
scans.
be in the coming
But the
months
purpose of
and
the
years.
job is to work with
Not
I know-
clinicians and doctors.
I know they got
and
these
patients
huge
to
product
help
announcements coming,
diagnose
but
disease.
they need to have a
And so the
story
fact
that
these
weaves all that
radiologists
stuff
can now
together. And
study
what
scans
now?
so
Right now, I
fast,
think what we're going to see
order more
is
scans
this kind of
from more
conversation, and then
modalities. As a
the
result,
product
they're able to
conversation is going to be good, but they're not going to
onboard
fit
patients a lot
into
more
a
quickly. The
well
number of patients in a
placed
hospital
narrative.
can go up.
And I think
The
that's what's
hospital's
missing
making
here.
more money,
Yeah,
taking care of
I mean,
more
Keynote
inpatients.
sets the tone, it sets
Radiologists,
the
busier than
framework, it
ever,
sets
demand's
the
going up.
it
And so
sets
I think the same thing is
the
happening as software engineers. Our company,
institutional
100%
move
of software
forward.
engineers
That's
are now
what it
supported by
does.
agents. They're
Perfect.
busier than ever.
I have no
because
doubt
their
these products
experimentation is
are
moving
great.
a lot
I've
more
seen the
quickly.
announcements,
Every single idea
but they
expressed in
just
the
have to
code
tell a narrative
instantaneously.
around what,
And
okay,
so
these
we're
products
exploring more
fit
ideas.
a narrative.
More software engineers are working with each other.
There's no real
coming up with
narrative
new
yet
ideas,
that
new,
these
Adobe-
great products are going to fit into.
Adobe needs to hire Jeff Gomez.
Before because we just didn't have the
That
time
wouldn't
to
be a
do
bad
it.
idea, actually.
No, it certainly
I
wouldn't.
think most people have this wrong. I think that the fact that we're now so productive, we can experiment, iterate so fast, we're going to be busier than ever.
Well, you were talking again about.
We've heard that,
instead
but
of
then we've
creating
also
one
seen the layoff
marketing
notices.
campaign, now you're creating hundreds
That's
of
covered
marketing
up. I think
campaigns.
that's air cover
And
at
that's
this
going
point.
to be run. But
Yeah.
I think our relationship also goes back to when we would never have enough compute power. You give us as much as you would in your chips, and our graphics engineers would take advantage of it. And I think a lot of the folks here, they're all trying to deliver these new experiences as marketers or as businesses in real time. Just talk to us a little bit about this sort of computing infrastructure and where it goes, and how it allows people in this room to be able to deliver sort of those experiences at real time, do the reasoning. How does this all evolve?
Fundamentally, what happened was the computer industry went from a pre-recorded, retrieval-based computing model, which is, artists and computer software engineers and people who write stories. We pre-record our ideas, and then we store it obviously in the
Did we say
data
something
center. We then retrieve it
to make
using
Michael
a
mad?
filter that's called a
I don't know where he went.
recommendation system.
I don't know where he went.
And so that process
It's kind of
of
disappeared.
accessing information today pretty much
Keep an eye
defines
out for 'em.
computing. In the future, you're going to come up with a seed of an original idea, and that seed is highly controlled, highly curated, is brand perfect, is exactly the way you want to represent it. And then every single time your customers enjoy your content is going to be passed through a generative AI. And it's going to be then presented, described, illustrated in a way that is contextually sensible in their language, in their country, in the settings of exactly their own interest. Every single one of us will enjoy the internet completely differently. Every one of us will enjoy our brands differently because it's generated for us in real time.
We actually
So how does that
see
happen? In order for that future to happen, we still need to have grounded
behavior,
first principle truth. The truth of our brands, the truth of our design, truth of our original artifact. And then it needs to run on a factory. And this factory goes creatives, operation, marketing, customer engagement. I'm not
Content supply chain.
but these are kind of the phrases I think you guys use. But that's the process. That's the process that I see my marketing team goes through. And by the way, NVIDIA marketing is built on NVIDIA, built on Adobe. And that factory in the future will include AI supercomputers, which means that's part of the reason why we're working so closely together. Adobe is going to be the marketing manufacturing system in a lot of ways, converting creative assets all the way through.
Looks like Michael is trying to come back.
Through customer experiences and engagements, but that entire foundation will run on AI factories and AI supercomputers.
Well, I was actually going to talk a little bit about the fact that
I started out being a big customer for him. You're going to be a big customer for me.
I am already a big customer for you. Trust me. I told Jetson this story, and I should probably share it with folks here. One Saturday, the head of research calls me up, and he says, "I've got this."
We thought we said something that you didn't like, and you just left.
Model associated with imaging or video. We've gone from diffusion models to transformer models, and we fixed it. And I said, "So, have you fixed that problem?" He's like, "No, it's nothing to do with that. I just got another allocation of NVIDIA GPUs, but you have 5 minutes, Shantanu, to approve this." And so I did say yes. But our relationship, we've worked together. In fact, when we were shipping boxes, as you remember, you got the first copy of Creative Suite 3. Let's talk a little.
I literally have the first box autographed by Shantanu. I still have it.
But let's talk about actually what we announced recently, sort of the desire to build these new frontier models to help with the omniverse and physical objects, to provide creative and marketing flows for the enterprise. And how do you see that as an opportunity sitting from NVIDIA rather than from Adobe?
Well, the projects that we conceived together literally covers the entire modern pipeline of a generative, agentic, creative, and marketing process. And every single company will be built, the process will be run, the software, the agents, the AI models will be running on this Adobe factory that is sitting in multiple clouds, and it's going to take us through our entire marketing campaign and creative process and marketing operations, all the way to testing, the effectiveness of these different campaigns. And we're gonna, we do a lot of marketing ourselves. We have a lot of customers everywhere, and we need to service customers everywhere. And so the fact that we could work with Adobe allows us to engage basically every market, every platform. And so, what we're working on starts from the creative process, 3D original design assets, the digital twins, to create customer specific, brand specific AI models on the Firefly Foundry, all the way to operations. It's incredible. We're literally building the modern.
Why do they keep making a big deal of the digital twins? It's not anything new.
We're excited. We're really excited, Jensen. A lot of companies are also thinking about
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Right now. So maybe just switching to the business side for a while.
There's some relevance to some
They're all
parts of the
thinking
world,
about
but
AI and transformation for the company.
if I'm not a luxury retailer, why don't I need a digital twin of the screwdriver I just bought at Home Depot?
NVIDIA, completely all in on AI for obvious reasons. We believe in it. And the thing that I will tell you is that a decade ago, when I pushed the company into it, it was probably a little early. And then 9 years ago, it was a little early. And 8 years ago, it was a little earlier. And so, but every single year, the improvement was exponential. And this year, it is exactly right on time. And so I think that, you never want to be too early, but you definitely can't afford to be late. And so I prefer that we stay with it. We believe what we believe. We know that the technology is evolving. And so for everybody here, I would absolutely engage.
Spending an enormous amount of time here to
I would absolutely engage
air.
AI as soon as you can.
There's a lot of things not being talked about because Jensen and Shantanu are in an incredibly long conversation.
Organizations are going to find it surprising.
It feels a bit rudderless.
What's happened last year?
It's just, I guess,
you and I, spoken about this literally in the last several months. We went through a very significant transition.
And again, it's not that it's uninteresting. It actually is interesting. But
understand what we say and produce information
way
back
too long, given what should be
agentic AI. It could now perform work.
It just really seems like
collaborating with all of our engineers and supporting us.
Say that again, Keith.
And so
it just seems like we're missing an opportunity.
AI is producing work. That's another way of saying AI is finally valuable. People love AIs that know it all, but in the final analysis, what you pay for is work done. Not the fact that there's an AI that knows it all. And so we're now getting real work done.
I know one thing that Jensen is really also being focused on is, given NVIDIA is now part of every single industry, whether you think about it as medicine, climate, science, national infrastructure.
I only care about media and entertainment. Advertising is the only thing I care about.
But in all seriousness,
right now,
how do you think about responsibility?
Hold Adobe to ad tech,
just lessons for everybody in terms of global responsibility that NVIDIA now has and how you think about it.
I just
nobody's a greater
don't
champion
feel like this has moved the needle much,
Nobody is a
if
greater
any at all,
champion
so far.
for enabling
Again,
every
this is like, hey,
country,
I got
every
Jensen. That's all I got.
company, every industry to be able to take advantage of this revolutionary technology. I think that's ultimately how we could be in service of the world.
Bernie says, I disagree. I think everyone in that room is getting a real-time education how the leading CEO in the world thinks about AI marketing and advertising.
That's absolutely true, and it should be a track somewhere
really great
where
life
they can sit
sciences
and.
AI team.
But it doesn't-
Really great
think it moves anything for Adobe at this point.
I was getting ready to say that it has not helped with a narrative that we were hoping to see.
Interesting discussion, but
Yeah.
it's kind of at the point of
We try very hard to do
Okay,
fundamental
so just
research
sip.
that pioneers the technology.
When there's
space,
certain things
opens
that
the
are
door for companies like you and I to
shaping
do.
what's going on today,
So
like
this way,
the so-called
we
SaaS
can't ever go
apocalypse,
as
the mark,
deep as your domain
the
expertise, but we could at least express our
I guess
technology in such
the
a
business
way
models
that
around
we could then
agentic
start working
AI
together.
seem to
And
be
so that
you know,
research has led us really
at risk
our
for a lot of
research teams and our
companies that
engineering teams
are
to really be
trying to
able
figure out how do they
And now,
make money
through your
and how do we
vision
price
and
all
through
this
your
AI
deep
stuff.
understanding of the domain, you could shape
There's been
our
nothing that
technology
addressed any
in
of that
service
kind
of
of
your
thing.
community.
And I think you have to address it. I'm not saying you have to go hard on it,
Modest
but
when
you kind
think
of have to
about
address
both
what's
the
shaping
incredible
all the
technology
talking points right
transformation that
now.
you've
And
driven, Jensen,
I'm
as
I
making
haven't
well.
seen
I'm
The
making
way
it
in which
3
you've driven
hours.
is really inspiring.
well, I won't be there
I
to
know
see
the
the.
entire
No, I won't either.
We like
I got
to
the
end with
next.
just a word association, so I'll ask you. A
No,
word.
Brent,
Nothing
you're
spiritually
absolutely
more.
right. I mean, this is a conversation,
Let's just see,
around pricing,
what comes to
packaging,
mind.
monetization,
Anything
value
that comes to
delivery.
mind. So
There's a real opportunity that they're wasting not discussing it.
Yeah.
So I'll start. Denny's.
Pigs in a blanket.
Now we're talking about late night food.
Oh, they're doing that ending thing that people
High
do.
school.
Yeah.
That rapid fire.
word
I'll say a
association.
word, yeah.
Word association,
It's
yeah.
Endeavor, it's
This is-
Voyager, but Starbase.
Wow.
I mean,
That
I
is
feel like, this was, we had
This is
a
very
sneak peek into
incredible
these two
innovation
guys
that
at a
they're
bar
doing in
having a
buildings as well.
cocktail and
Stanford
listening to
Starbase
them
is where you
reminisce
park all the
about where they
starships.
started and where they
Stanford-
wound up.
the literally and using one of your word associations
Racing
is Denny's.
Spencer
Boy,
Madison with
Well,
Lori.
I think that's because he worked there when he was a kid or something.
yeah.
He makes a big deal
Notice how
about
he
Denny's.
responds with one word, but that's okay. Leadership,
Oh god.
Empowerment.
creativity.
Jeez.
Shantanu.
There's the first crowd reaction.
Yeah. It was.
I wonder if he's.
That's so sweet.
I wonder if he's going to address the crowd about it. This being his last one of
Please
these things.
thank me in having, somebody who's really changed the world with us here today. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shantanu Ryan.
He,
Yeah, he had more control of this than
about to say.
Shantanu did.
Steve Gilmore moment. Oh my. Way too long.
Let's see, what time are we at? 47
47.
minutes.
Yeah. 47 minutes in, and they still haven't addressed anything.
Right.
I like when companies are able to, like, I think Oracle has basically, they're done in like 45 minutes usually, right?
Yeah.
They've gotten to the point where they're pretty good about being under an hour.
Again, I mean, you're setting the stage for everything going forward, not just the conference, for the next year, right? And,
Yeah.
and right now, Adobe's doing nothing, at least from my standpoint. It makes me have a whole lot. Oh, look at that. My favorite words has, it makes me have any confidence in what I'm seeing.
Well, what's
narrative
also
has-
really weird is as I said, starting at 10 a.m. this morning, I've been poking my head in and out of sessions that all came before the keynote. So, it's kind of, and some of them were in the weeds in terms of, what they were talking about product, and they did the top trends session and stuff. And I don't know, it's kind of a weird production run of show kind of thing.
Yeah, that too.
All right. Thank you, Shantanu and Jensen. Really terrific insights on the rapid pace of AI and agentic innovation and the transformative power of agentic AI. Great discussion, wasn't it? So now let's dig into how you can harness agentic AI to enhance your brands, to identify and cultivate prospects, convert them to customers, engage and delight your customers, and develop their loyalty and grow your customer lifetime value. As context, specific to customer experience and marketing, there are three major trends that are shaping the industry. First, the way consumers find information and engage with your brand is changing rapidly. LLMs and AI platforms are quickly becoming a primary interface between customers and brands. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, and others are increasingly the first stop for discovery, research, advice, and comparisons. In fact, our data shows that AI traffic to US online sites increased a staggering 269% year over year in March. From the enterprise perspective, the pace and promise of agentic AI is unprecedented. Agentic architecture.
There was a spoiler alert on that piece of data because I already heard that this morning.
Integrate applications and democratize access to business users. AI coding tools enable you to increase the productivity of your development teams dramatically. And third, in the advertising world, digital channels are predominant and budgets continue to shift towards
Interesting
more
stat on that session that the conversion rate from
TV,
AI platform has surpassed search.
with ads in
That's not really that surprising. It's kind of built to be better than search.
These three major trends will have a significant and enduring competitive advantage.
It's basically doing a lot of work for you for search.
You need to surmount some real challenges. For starters,
I saw a good video that this YouTube guy put out that explains why the YouTube algorithm is changing because of what's going on with search versus LLMs,
Our latest survey shows
they're like really
80%
starting to
of
eat in
businesses
significantly
have
into
significant gaps
not just the
in
traffic,
how
but the
their brands show
conversion.
up in AI platforms. We realize you are looking to understand and looking for help on how the LLMs truly work and what you can do to make your brands and products prominent in those LLMs. Second, the proliferation of channels where you need to reach customers today across your own channels, earned channels, and paid channels. Adobe's own marketing team, for example, delivers experiences with well over 50 channels. I'm sure you can relate to that. Measurement, attribution, calculating return on ad spend, they're all becoming significantly more complex as a result of channel proliferation. Third, the number of customer journeys that you need to manage is increasing rapidly. Every audience, all those channels, every one of your products and your sub-brands, they each demand your attention. And that's what makes the goal of true one-on-one.
One thing I think
which you all want to
is
do, so that you
we
can
always
delight
think
the
Adobe would be
customers.
great at
That's
telling
what makes it
stories
a
and
huge challenge.
in creative ways. Sometimes it just doesn't come across in some of these keynotes.
The demand for content is
There's so many
skyrocketing.
ways you can really tell these stories
Marketers tell
and
us that they expect content
jazz it
demand
up
to
some.
increase 5x over the next 2 years. And while
Well,
generating
it's the
content
same.
is
It's the
becoming
same playbook. It's the same script.
you have to ensure that every piece of content is impactful, on brand, and just the right.
You make a really great point because
So these challenges need to
all the things that are changing
AI platforms, channel
with the
proliferation,
technology that's allowing people to do things
customer journeys,
so creatively,
demand for
it doesn't
one-on-one
feel
consultation,
like
Like,
and
like
expression
they're not drinking their own champagne.
No.
it really doesn't feel like you said, the script is from pre-pandemic. It feels, and we're not living in that same world.
I mean, the whole thing about increasingly complex customer journeys. I mean, literally, Thunder had said that 10 years ago, right? And it's little, and you know what? It's not. It's just they're not getting any more complex. It's just more of them that are complex, right? That's
you need that agentic reasoning layer that orchestrates seamlessly across the agents that you build, as well as third-party agents that you get from your partners.
I just think there's a much better way to tell this story and
That turns the
visualize.
raw
I mean,
input
the
of
graphics look great, but
into
this
content and actions
they look like,
that are
you know,
consistent with
something
your
we've
business
seen
goals and
for
your
years.
brand. And all of that has to operate in the specific
And what they're saying
context
is
of
right.
your enterprise,
Yeah.
based on data that you have and making sure that there's data governance and ensuring that there's no hallucination. What you need is an end-to-end agentic AI-powered system that puts it all together for you so that you can deliver and optimize personalized experiences to every customer through any channel at the right moment in the customer lifecycle. And that is exactly what we are delivering. Today, I'm excited to announce our solution to power customer experience orchestration in the era of AI, Adobe CX Enterprise.
54 minutes in.
yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a long runway.
I mean, I'm
Adobe
glad
CX
to see
Enterprise
it.
is an end-to-end agentic AI system that will simplify how you manage the entire customer lifecycle, from
Yeah.
identifying prospects to driving conversion to developing lasting loyalty. It's built on our domain expertise in data, content, and journeys, and orchestrates apps and agents to deliver personalized experiences at scale. So let's unpack Adobe CX Enterprise, which addresses 3 critical use cases. First, brand visibility.
Yes.
As we talked about, every enterprise needs to address a dual challenge today. You have to ensure that your brands are visible, accurate, and trusted across the new AI platforms while deepening direct engagement on your own properties. Your brands and products need to stand out with content optimized for visitors and for agents, whether they are LLM agents or your customers' personal Nemo Claw agents. And you need to optimize for search as well as for discovery on the new consumer AI platforms. So how do you do that? The best way to do that is to double down on your own web properties and make sure that they're ready.
You know who I think they should have
So we provide the most comprehensive solution.
used a little bit more in these kind of presentations? Someone like that Lonnie Stark. Like, she knows her stuff, and she's great at telling stories and relaying information. I think they have people there that, you know how like Salesforce has people like Leah McGowan, and they utilize those folks to help them tell stories.
Yep.
Adobe could do that. They need to do that a lot more.
Yeah. And Lonnie, to your point, is a really good choice.
Solution for the entire customer
Yeah.
engagement lifecycle.
She's
Built natively
really
on top
great.
of the Adobe Experience Platform. Acting in concert, Adobe Real-Time CDP, Customer Journey Analytics, and Adobe Journey Optimizer, they bring together all of your customer data sources in a composable manner to deliver comprehensive real-time insights and orchestrate connected, personalized experiences.
See, now that's sort of, I mean, it's nothing wrong with what he said, but it sort of denigrates Journey Optimizer. Its job isn't just to capture data.
Right.
To
If it's
develop
not-
more campaigns at unprecedented speed and
But it
scale.
is the first
That's
time
all
they've
it's doing now, then they've
used the
created-
word data.
Your content supply chain, so that you can reshape.
And they have so much data.
Planning, creating,
There it is.
managing,
Content
activating,
supply.
and
They're,
measuring.
they're, he's talking about all of this in a very, to me, feature-centric
Adobe
way.
Summit,
Where you
end-to-end
really should be
content
talking
supply
about
chain.
what does this do for your
All
business?
agentic AI.
Once again, the narrative is not, they're not connecting the narrative to the features and functions in the platform. It's just tech. But what, as you said, what does that tech actually, how does that fit into what we were trying to do? It's
Well,
just
I mean, that's the
missing.
thing. It's, if you're truly
Very
outcomes based at all, you're going to be
Right.
talking about what this does. Ultimately, the people in the audience can say, I need to be able to say, not what you're talking about, but I can see that.
Enable you to realize the benefits of agentic AI across the
I can-
entire content supply
That's
chain.
what I need. And there's a
Yeah.
reason why.
So those are the three use cases. And today, I'm excited to announce Adobe CX Analytics across all of them.
They weren't use cases.
CX Analytics is a
They were
comprehensive
feature
analytics
conversations. There wasn't a
timely
single use case discussed.
across web, mobile,
I don't think we've had a use case yet.
Has a
conversation,
problem, a solution, and a result.
It's built on our leading Adobe Analytics and customer journey
Use
analytics
case.
capabilities and provides an easy-to-use conversational interface that enables the democratization of analytics.
How
and
about a
insights
demo? How about
across your
an actual
entire
use case demo of seeing
Even
this?
do a great Adobe video
All of
on
our
a day in
solutions
the
are
life,
powered by
man.
the Adobe AI platform.
Day
which
in the
we
life
introduced
videos.
at
I'm
Summit last
still,
year.
You know what it
And
feels
we're
like, though? It
continuing
feels
to innovate
like,
at a rapid pace.
you know, they still haven't connected
start with the
after the
agentic
Behance acquisition. They still haven't
First,
connected
I'm
the
excited to
creative
introduce
side
CX Enterprise
with the business
Coworker,
side to get
a
the benefits of
specialized
what
AI
both have to
agent
offer, just from a
designed to
storytelling
execute tasks
perspective.
for you
And
based on
they can
defined
surely use
business
that
goals.
at this point.
CX Enterprise Coworker enables
It's
your
like product marketing built a bunch of
dramatically
slides.
increase their
It's that,
productivity while ensuring that you maintain
Damn.
full choice.
it's a, look, I brought my Adobe mug with me.
Insights across the
It doesn't sound like there's a lot of energy in that. There's just not a lot of energy in that room right now. And
maybe they
that's,
have sound dampeners.
I don't think they need it.
No, that would be stupid, but who knows?
And can
Well,
coordinate
about it, that, again, you know, to like,
translating
this is the afternoon session. Why? And, people, I'm sure people, some of them flew in and got early morning flights and it's the end of their day. And they got in yesterday and partied their brains out on a Sunday night in Vegas and they're ready for a nap.
For a targeted offer, like audience segments.
if you guys were in charge of what was presented, this entire presentation would have been thrown out. And you would have told them to start.
Well, you're probably right. You're probably right.
That's kind of brutal.
But he's not wrong. We pretty much
No,
criticized
it's not
every
totally
feature.
wrong. No. I just think they could have built a story and a narrative and associated all the stuff that they're talking about now to a narrative, which would have really been a much more cohesive way of keeping this thing together.
And certainly not wait 54 minutes to even bring it up.
They are natively integrated.
And now you're showing me these architectures that, like,
as well as
always to me bring up, okay, how much of this stuff do I need to buy in order to get any value out of it?
is a
years
great
ago,
example of
I'm
we are
forgetting
meeting
the
our
name of the
users
then
where they are
CTO,
and
but
making
I was
our
at an analyst
easily
briefing,
accessible
and it
to
was in the early
partners
morning
they
at
are
breakfast. And Adobe announced at that time what they called
With
that they
Adobe's
were going to move
CX
toward
Enterprise,
platform and what they
we are
called an open
introducing two
ecosystem,
agentic systems of
and
intelligence.
specifically an
First,
open ecosystem.
Adobe
And
brand
they're one of the
intelligence,
first companies to actually
which
make
brings
a
a
fully
dynamic
conscious
insight layer
effort
that's
to
accessible by AI
integrate the
agents
two of them
and helps
in a
ensure
way
that
that was
every
actually
piece of
cohesive
content
and meaningful. And
is
the
on
open
brand.
ecosystem was even went to the point of saying, look, if we find a company
Teams
that
to
produces
rapidly
a
create
product that we
content
produce,
for
but it's better than
experiences,
ours,
content
we'll
remains true
partner
to
with
your brand identity.
right.
We
We
hope
can
we
work
move
because
beyond
we need
static
to look end
artifacts like
to end
brand
what
guidelines,
kind of
briefs,
outcomes our
and flow
customers need.
Whoa.
that learns
Whoa, I got some big news.
quantitative and
What's
nuanced
that?
input.
Apple
Such as
CEO Tim
feedback
Cook
from
will
your
step
users,
down in September to be
annotations,
replaced by
suggestions,
hardware
and
chief
approvals.
John Turnus.
And Apple, and then they're going to announce it.
So the
He'll
engagement
replace
intelligence.
Shantanu in
Yeah,
about 2 years.
and he's actually, and he's apparently he's getting ready to walk on stage. No, I'm just.
Drive personalization at scale.
That's huge. Wow.
This decisioning
Yeah.
engine enables
But
goal-based
I mean, look,
material
they were one of the
based on
earlier
comprehensive
companies on
measurement
understanding
and
platform and ecosystem as the way to move forward. And
Adobe
but
CX
they've
Enterprise underpinned
just
by our global
deteriorated into
real-time
tech
Adobe
features.
Experience platform. And
Even though this is
AEP
the right
provides
thing to talk
contextual
about.
layer that
Just
enables CX
not the-
Enterprise
Yeah, but not an hour
and
in.
all the agents
No,
that
not
we
an
have
hour in, and
easy
not the way
based
they're
on governed
speaking
data,
about it either.
operate
3
within
use
defined
cases, which are
systems,
3 feature
and take
descriptions.
actions
Yeah.
that are durable
And usually,
Listen to me.
Go ahead.
They're
We've
still
got a
talking in
lot of new
feature.
innovation around agentic AI.
and
Let's see
wouldn't
if
it be
CX
nice to see a
Enterprise
demo or
actions. For that,
something
I'll
in
turn it over to
action?
Amy James and Gina Casagrande.
Oh, maybe that's what we're
Amy,
getting ready to
Gina,
see
take it
now.
away.
Okay.
Gina Casagrande.
Do you know her?
Today we're going to
Oh,
show
God,
you
yeah.
what
She,
Adobe CX
she and I were at
Enterprise
Omniture back in
and
2009 when we got
teams
Wow.
acquired.
the brand visibility, the content supply chain.
So the
and
answer is
customer
yes, you do
engagements.
know.
So fast
I'll always remember Gina and my son have the same
allowing
birthday.
us to use their brand to really bring
Nice.
this vision demo to life. And while the workflows and data is
3 years
fictitious,
though.
the need for speed these days definitely isn't. Now, I'm going to give myself a little promotion today. I'm now the VP of Marketing at Marriott Bonvoy, with a great view in a corner
Didn't
office.
Canva have a whole bunch of Australian accents too?
My CX Enterprise
Yeah.
for my daily
Yeah.
briefing. And
I
it
think
tells
you
me
need to have
that
It's an
there's
people-
Australian company,
an
though.
engagement opportunity.
Well, that's
Coming
true.
from the
But at
south
least
of
we have.
France.
I think you need
Now,
to
that
make
sounds
your
really important,
keynote
so I'm gonna bookmark
sound
that,
better.
so
You
I
need to
can
have
come
at
back
least
to
one
that later.
Australian accent on there.
Now
What
that
you
I'm
don't
at
need to have is the
CX,
band that
CX
Canva had.
Enterprise greets me with
No,
Right.
you don't need
Oh
that.
my God, was that
knows who I
awful?
am, what's important to me.
That wasn't
and
grunge, that was
bookmark
cringe,
that I added
right?
earlier. Now,
Right.
I'm going to explore this a little bit more because I'm wondering how big is this opportunity and is it going to last? But here's what I love. Because Adobe CX Enterprise Coworker is grounded in Adobe's domain expertise and Marriott's business context, it goes to work. Understanding my business goals,
Is
my key
Coworker
priorities,
integrated with
and the urgency of this
like
task.
Claude
Now,
Proper
I
and
can clearly see here that we're getting a lot of referral traffic from LLMs in EMEA. And with CX Analytics, always on agent, it automatically pulls in signals from on and off-site channels. So we can start to recommend and forecast incremental revenue and surface trade-offs around resources, budget, and timing. Now, that's how it knows that unlike past trends, this time I have the bandwidth and the budget to execute a wider strategy here. And before I've even had the time to think about what I want to do next, it's recommending that I reach out to my regional marketing manager, Gina, routing work to the right person in the right surface at the right moment. So yes, I will get her to action that and take a look at it. Adobe CX Enterprise doesn't just automate work. It intelligently orchestrates it across people, agents, and tools.
In my CX Enterprise home, I see Amy's flagged this for me. An urgent work request, my favorite form of cardio. Luckily, I have the Adobe CX Enterprise Coworker to help accelerate the work. It brings together all of these out-of-the-box Adobe agents alongside Marriott's custom agents. I set the guardrails for what it can do, all within the enterprise-grade
this would have been really
and governance.
great to see about 30 minutes ago. It's still good to see now, but it just feels like this could have been a little earlier.
Why our converting rate is so low. Now, the CX Enterprise Coworker pulls in the Proactive Insights agent to surface this insights and automates a root cause analysis. It's found that there's a spike in organic traffic, but it's not leading to more bookings. And it's tied it and connected to the dots to a TV series that's filming in the region that's trending on social. So here we can see all of these great insights. It's got people dreaming of going to the Riviera, great for us, except they're bouncing. Not only does CX Enterprise Coworker tell us what's happening, but it tells us what to do about it. In this case, quick fix, we need to optimize that landing page and improve the bounce rate. But there's also a bigger opportunity here where we can drive an
Adobe target
and capitalize on this social trend. So let's start with the optimizing the landing page. And agents get to work quickly applying fixes to the Southern France page. Let's take a look. So here we can see the before, and this is the after. This page has been optimized using site assets existing in our DAM that are more relevant to the Riviera DreamWorks. More asset reuse means less.
I do feel like I've seen this
Amy should be
before.
giving me a promotion too.
Well, that they did this.
So I like the
When they
images.
demoed their AI way back.
I want to see a little more
7 or 8, they did
options.
something exactly like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back then, it was a real breakthrough kind of level
And I like
thing.
this one.
Now
no
it's just
spoilers.
at best
It's luxury
table
in the
stakes.
Riviera.
Right.
And it's been updated on the page. Let's-
But it is using,
let's go
I mean,
ahead
a lot of their, of course, their
Go
data and
publish.
their all
Now,
their stuff.
But,
So
but
it's
that,
nice.
the page goes
that
live.
should be what they're
Autonomous
using.
feedback
And again,
validates
what about,
accessibility,
I want to
generative
hear
and SEO guidelines, and
what
more.
is the
I know
actual
it can flag
outcome.
anything to
Let's
me
lead with that and
before
then
it
show
goes
how they
live
got
that
there.
there was an issue.
Yep.
And just like that, we've optimized.
Like,
for
how is this going to
visibility.
impact conversion
Ensuring
rates
the
or
landing page is
optimize?
optimized
You
and
know,
discoverable
they
by
still have to make a
agents,
case
but more
for
relevant to
ROI
humans
with
as
all
well.
this stuff.
Well,
And-
absolutely.
Let's plan the acquisition
I
campaign.
think that's an imperative.
Now, the great
We're
news
we're
is
over
I
an
have
hour
started
into it,
the
right?
campaign.
And it's
The
like
CX Enterprise Coworker
you think about a
puts in
conversation and
variant-specific KPIs, insights,
it's like
audiences,
you
and
went to a
data
dinner
from
party and
systems
all
that
the
were not
person did
structured
was
to
talk
start.
about themselves.
I'm going to go ahead and invite my team so we can ideate and
Enough
collaborate.
about me. Why don't you
This
talk
I
about
mean,
me?
where's the, you know,
We're going to bring
the,
it together
who's
into
supposed to be
a
the
digital
NFL or NBC or somebody supposed to
and
be coming
I'll go
out
ahead and
or,
publish
you
this
know,
Yeah, usually don't they have some kind of a like
the
a
agents
celebrity
get to
as a
work
part of
right
this?
away, creating the projects
That's
and the
neat.
tasks
They have
and
the
assigning
but-
No, I
resources
mean
based
they
on
like
availability.
they used to have like
Trend Studio,
Peyton
the Visual
Manning
Studio, the
on the
metadata is gonna flow
keynote
all the
and
way
day
from that
two.
campaign
That's not day one.
to activate
oh they
this campaign.
so they have
I love
two
it. Yeah,
main
that's
keynotes
right.
now.
Yeah, they have
And,
one
so I
tomorrow,
see-
but
Let's
still.
kick this off.
No,
Work
I mean, again, this is the
This is the opening
That was the
keynote.
Robert Redford,
Yeah.
And we can see
that was the one that Ann Lunis always did with, and that was Robert Redford. and-
Yeah, the one where I'm trying
He
to
was
help
fawning-
you out.
Fawning completely over him. That was kind of
That was
funny.
the best answer I ever heard a guest give anyone when he was saying, "Come on, I'm trying to help you out here."
No,
It was
who
so
was the director that came on and he did the kind of the same thing? Remember the guy? Yeah, Andrews. He did the
Aaron
exact
Sorkin.
as if it's
He
telling
did
me,
the
hey,
same
Gina,
thing.
don't forget about these guys. I love that.
Well,
That is
I
the
think
power
Ann
of this
Loon's
judging
problem with
system.
these
The opportunities find me.
celebrities was she was starstruck by every
Design
one of them
team has gone ahead
to the
and
point where
created
it
all of the
became
hero
like
assets
hopeless to
and
talk to them.
They're approved.
Mm.
Now the
Aaron
Firefly
Sorkin
creative
said something like, I don't even, like, not
generated
explicitly, but was like, I don't use
and I
this
know
stuff.
that before
I
they
know.
Yeah, he
created
did say something like
they've
that.
gone through
like when
I
they had
remember.
The worst, one of the worst
And just like
choices
that,
Adobe ever
there can
made
be
was
added
using
to this
Tig
journey.
Notaro for
Let's take
Sneak.
a look.
She
Well, I
had
think
no
she was-
idea what she was doing.
She was a fill-in because
And
Shaq
Adobe
was
Intelligence,
supposed to be there and
Adobe
he
Engagement,
something happened to him and he
Look,
couldn't make
she's
it.
really
Check
talented and
for
funny
audience
when she wants to be,
overlap,
but it
journey
just was the wrong
priority,
thing.
and even optimizes the timing.
Yeah,
They
guys,
better have
probably-
something up their sleeve.
Nvidia is going to buy them. That's what we'll announce tomorrow.
They need to have something up their sleeves for Investor Day.
Hits our benchmarks, and everything is great.
Because this wasn't, they didn't address any of that kind of stuff.
So I'll go ahead and publish this. And I've literally just gone from a signal to a fully orchestrated campaign. That's the power of Adobe CX Enterprise, helping me and my team optimize for brand visibility, streamline the content supply chain, and personalize customer engagement. Amy, what do you think about the
I
campaign?
think I'd like to hear an outcome.
Funny you say that, but
Oh, wait a minute.
I am getting
heard
a
you.
lot of alerts here, Gina, telling me how well the campaign is performing.
Okay.
These
All right.
are just demo jockeys. They're not
Place to stay in the Riviera.
even solution engineers.
The team and discuss?
You know,
Because Adobe CX Enterprise skills extend into the Microsoft ecosystem, I can use Copilot Cowork
Oh,
to
wow.
access campaign
Wow,
performance
Copilot.
directly within Microsoft Teams.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to ask, show me how the Riviera campaign is performing by revenue per audience and channel. Here we go. And there we go. I have the
That's
latest
actually
insights
a nice
directly within the collaboration
thing to
tools
show.
that we use. Now it's also asking if I'd like to generate a PDF report, and I do actually, and I'd like to organize a recurring meeting with my ops team and send this report as a pre-read one day in advance. Every Tuesday.
He's telling though, when they used to do these demos,
Behind the scenes,
the audience would, like, when there's something really cool, the audience would react.
to understand my team.
I haven't heard a thing yet.
Go to the report and how to format it
Do I
based
look
on
frozen
my
to you guys? Because I look frozen to me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you're
This
frozen.
would be
We can still hear you, but you're
complex
frozen.
and manual
You
tasks.
can see.
And I just accomplished that.
I have no
in
idea
one
why.
single
Why don't you turn on the
This
heat?
is how we're bringing the power of CX
Yeah.
Enterprise to users wherever
I
they
think there's a
work.
lack of reaction because a lot of
What
this
you just
stuff,
saw was Adobe CX
Carly
Enterprise.
said, a lot of this is table stakes.
Purpose-built
Yeah.
agentic system
Also,
together
people are checking out because it's an hour and what?
to service
Almost an hour and
new
15 minutes in.
opportunities and deliver
And it's kind of late in the day
across every experience.
if you came from the East Coast.
This is customer experience
At least
orchestration.
if
in the
now that
era
I'm
of
frozen, at least I was
AI.
half smiling.
There you go. There, we got something there.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Amy
Here
and
we are.
Gina. That was a terrific end-to-end look at Adobe CX Enterprise. And thank you to Marriott for their partnership and permitting us to use their brand for the
I was
demo.
wondering about that
Now, you
actually.
saw an example of the work we've done to build native AI
So
platform.
it's not
integration.
real.
In this case, with Microsoft Copilot Cowork. We have similar native integrations with all the major enterprise AI platforms.
Okay.
There you
can
go.
access Adobe's agentic capabilities directly from Cloud, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot with a composable platform that makes it straightforward to bring Adobe CX Enterprise functionality directly into the tools used daily by your marketing and creative teams. And with NVIDIA, we're bringing CX Enterprise Coworker capabilities into the NemoClaw Enterprise Agent platform, enabling brands to deploy Adobe's customer experience intelligence within NVIDIA's secure, policy-governed OpenShell runtime. So you get the best of both worlds, the rapid innovation of these AI platforms and the rock-solid, proven capabilities of Adobe CX Enterprise. I am sure that many of you will make Adobe CX Enterprise your super app for customer experience orchestration.
That's it.
So let's build on that with the demo that you just saw with Copilot Cowork. And here from Microsoft's Charles Lamana,
Oh.
Executive Vice President.
He's
He's good.
Yeah.
This guy is good. I
Oh,
love
so
this.
Because you have two companies which have really defined the core applications that you use on a PC and for desktop computing. We're seeing the same kind of thing happen right now. We're making it so that AI systems are more accessible to more people. So it's easier to get access to your data. And easier to
Copilot
get
needs some help though.
We recently announced
God,
Copilot
they're such a
helps our users
distant
don't
force
just
at
get
this
answers
point.
from AI, but start to take actions. We use this thing called Work IQ, which looks at all of your office and workplace information to create insights. It joins that together so you can start to use AI to complete whole workflows and whole arcs of activities without having to switch out to different systems over time. One of the biggest things that I hear from users is that they hate going to lots of different systems to get their job done. The new Adobe Marketing Agent shows up with Microsoft Copilot, so you get the power of both the Adobe AI systems and the Microsoft AI systems. The Adobe Marketing Agent pulls together all the important information you need, things like your cohorts or your audiences or the journeys that you're working on, and exposes them right inside of Microsoft 365 Copilot. So by working together with Adobe and having the Adobe CX agentic skills, it can start to understand and speak your data and your marketing campaigns and your marketing orchestrations. And as you think about what you can start to do as you bring together these systems from Microsoft and Adobe, we really can get to that future vision of a personal AI assistant that has the ability to quickly load skills and interact with the right data that you need to get the job done. One place, one AI brain, helping you be more efficient.
Thank you, Charles and Microsoft. We appreciate the continued partnership and look forward to rapid innovation. In addition to the AI platforms, our product teams and forward deployed engineers work closely with a broad ecosystem of partners, agencies, system integrators, software industry leaders to ensure that Adobe CX Enterprise is perfectly tailored to your needs. Global agencies are expecting.
Oh, you've been frozen for a long time there.
Put me in the green room and then pop me back in and see if
But
that works.
it's not a bad image though. Don't worry, Paul. You don't
Yeah.
look like you have a weird.
Let's see if I bring you out and then bring you back in. You're still looking pretty frozen. Oh, now you're not there. All
All right, I'll go and I'll come back.
right.
Time to value and efficiency.
I think companies really need to work to make sure these keynotes hit a certain time. Because after a while, you kind of get a little tired.
The role of Gen Studio as the
It's-
comprehensive solution.
I mean, this guy is not meant to be speaking for
Gen Studio. I'm
you know,
excited to welcome
the lion's share of
President of
all
Adobe
this stuff.
Creativity and Productivity Business. David?
Like just because you're the highest paid person in the room doesn't mean you get to be. Oh, there's David. Okay,
David's
there's David.
I like David.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. An hour and 15 minutes
Hello,
in.
everyone.
Wow.
Hello, everyone. Come on, this is like the seventh inning.
See, he needs to liven it up a bit here.
I'm David Woodwani. I run the creativity and business and productivity businesses at Adobe, as Anil talked about. Now, I spend a lot of my time thinking about how we communicate and how we tell great stories. And that happens through great content. But what makes content great? What makes it stand out? How do you create it at scale? And how do you do all of these things while maintaining brand integrity? Now, one of the coolest things about my job is that I have the opportunity to spend time with the most creative people in the world. I still remember when Eric Johansson shared how he uses Photoshop to create fantastical ideas that only he sees in his head. Or when Billie Eilish and Takashi Murakami shared how they collaborate to mix her music with his art. And when Oscar winner Rob Legato walked us through his approach to developing and the launch sequence in Apollo 13, and how he merged.
Liz is lurking. Liz is lurking.
Because footage alone didn't capture the humanity of the moment, like someone's technically flawed, but incredibly rich memory did. Now, after every one of these conversations, and conversations with thousands of creators over the years, what strikes me is the power of great creative work and how it elevates your brand and your relationships. Like when Coca-Cola taught the world to sing in the 1970s. Or more recently, how IBM
Don't forget about Mean Joe.
to light up the Vegas sphere. Some IBM folks back there. It was one of the first large campaigns.
They missed a Coca-Cola reference in the last decade at Adobe Summit.
Communicated their brand vision by combining popular culture and the meteoric rise of Lando Norris with the gorgeous visuals that grab your attention. Your campaigns have the power to shape society and inspire people. And your content and the content you produce fuels your marketing and your relationship with your customers. And from my vantage, high octane content has a few common characteristics that we should all pay a lot of attention to. First, it has to stand out. In today's world where AI slop is on the rise and every channel is flooded.
I love that term.
You need to
AI
stand out
slop.
creatively. Second, it has to stay fresh. We know from our own campaigns that content grows stale and ROI deteriorates after only a few weeks. Third, it needs to be personalized. 90% of marketers say that personalized content improves lead generation and conversion in a significant way, but personalization requires creativity at scale. And finally, underpinning all of this is your brand. You need to maintain your brand identity as you scale your content
I
production.
think Paul went for the blue chip special.
Let's talk about this, how all of this comes together. Now,
Watching
what
the Knicks
Anil
pregame.
walked us through
That's right.
was
Yeah.
the broad
Yeah, he
sense
froze
of
all right.
content
Froze right into
and
that
pillars that
Knicks
comprise it.
pregame.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the content supply chain to give you a sense of how AI.
And they just said content supply chain. Paul's favorite.
Models coming out of media models and
I think
agents
was that. Well, I saw it on another slide.
Now, as I share this vision, I'm speaking to you from two distinct perspectives. The first is, as I mentioned, my team and I build the tools that your teams use to make the content you deliver. But secondly, and more relevant for today, I run a large global business that includes a significant direct-to-consumer digital channel and a large enterprise channel doing B2B. So that makes me one of the most demanding Adobe customers on the planet. We simply could not run our business without CX Enterprise. All right, so let's jump in. Adobe Gen Studio. This is our solution that drives your content supply chain, from workflow and planning to creation and production to delivery and activation to reporting and insights. And today, we're going to focus on the creation and production pillar of that. You actually heard Shantanu and Jensen talk about how AI and agentic is going to change everything about how we create content. So we're going to give you a set of products that let you stand out with the content you build, with the velocity that's going to keep it fresh, with the capacity to do personalization at scale without compromising your brand identity. And of course, the workhorse of content creation continues to be Adobe's Creative Cloud. All the tools your creative professionals know and love: Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, After Effects, InDesign, just to name a few. We've also added Adobe Firefly, our new AI creation production studio that is rapidly gaining traction in enterprises and agencies for concepting. Firefly gives creators access to image, video, design, 3D and audio models from Adobe, Google, OpenAI, Flux, Runway, and all the major leading model providers in the world. We also launched 2 years ago Firefly Enterprise, and it's made up of two critical scale capabilities. First is Firefly Foundry, that gives you customized models that generate content that are deeply tuned to your brand and your brand guidelines. And second is Firefly Creative Production, that lets you generate and assemble content variations for multiple languages, for audience segments, and distribution. This can literally generate thousands of on-brand content and assets in minutes instead of months. And last, but certainly not least, is Frame.io, our digital asset management solution for work in progress content. It's where you store, manage, and review the assets you create in Creative Cloud, Firefly, and Firefly Enterprise, or any of our other applications like Adobe Express. So when a brand like Home Depot needs to create thousands of assets for a campaign quickly, their team can leverage branded models to explore concepts in Firefly, create designs in Photoshop, scale with Firefly Enterprise, and manage it all in Frame. And you can learn more. Home Depot has a booth and an exhibit in the community pavilion. Encourage you guys to stop by and see how they're using this entire content supply chain in Gen Studio to do exactly what I'm talking about. Now, until today, developing content production workflows has meant streamlining how creative professionals and marketers collaborate. But today, all that's about to change as we introduce agents into these workflows. And with that, I'm thrilled to announce Adobe Creative Agent. The Adobe Creative Agent is built on decades of experience, just like Shantanu and Jensen talked about in their section. And it gives you all the information and understanding over these decades about how creative and marketing teams actually work. Your team sets the vision and makes all the judgment calls. They do the things only people can do. The creative agent orchestrates across all the models, the tools, the apps, the production processes that bring your vision to life. It's human-led and agent-accelerated. The second thing I couldn't be more excited to announce today is Adobe Brand Intelligence. Brand Intelligence is a living, breathing system. It's constantly seeing what you and your teams are doing, and it learns from it in real time as all of you work. What do you approve? What do you reject? What feedback do you give? What annotations do you leave on content? Every agent in your workflow is now dependent on brand intelligence.
I will say this has been the smoothest presentation so far
to assemble
of the executives.
To when they're validating the content you're creating, whether an agent created
just
or
to
whether
wait
you
whatever
created
an hour and 15 to get to this though is
has to be validated on
Yeah.
brand and compliant. And third, predict.
Let's see what Liz is saying. Ooh, the chatter is rising. Are you on that preview? We are looking at the. Oh, okay. So she's giving us a little color what's going on in the room. Okay, thanks, Liz. So people are talking about this. Okay.
Firefly for concept
Good to
development.
know. Good to
Creative
know.
Cloud for content creation. Firefly Enterprise for brand content.
And look who's
on-brand
back.
Content generation and
There
scale
he is.
production.
Unfrozen.
IO as a work in progress.
Compelling
asset
reasons to
management
not
system,
use
managing
Windows.
all of that content.
Yeah, I already have mine.
Creative agents to accelerate your work.
Had mine for years.
To help you keep your creative systems and teams and marketing teams and agents all on brand as you work. So we're going to show you all this in end-to-end system at work. So please welcome Anne Rich, who's going to play the role of.
We're going to go long again.
And Ben Vandenberg, who's going to play a creative director. And they're going to actually create a campaign for you end-to-end in 10 minutes, if it was just that easy. But it's going to give you a whole end-to-end system of how this works. We're going to start with a brief. They're then going to take that brief and they're going to convert it to creative concepts before then turning those creative concepts into actual hero designs. And then they're going to collaboratively review and revise that. And then those finalized approved hero assets are going to get scaled for
Get
personalized.
your DoorDash gift card so you can order dinner in.
And gives you that sense of how it all comes together. So let's start with Andy.
Really
And remember
long.
what we saw Gina do earlier was actually create a strategy brief.
They are starting to get in the way of the Knicks.
Convert that strategy brief into a creative brief so that we can kick off the creation production process.
Better watch it, Adobe.
Thanks,
My
David.
patience is wearing
So
thin.
as a marketing.
When does the
leader
game
at
start, at
Adobe,
7?
I just finished the do.
I don't actually know. I think it is 7, but I'll double
And I
check.
need to turn
No,
that
it's
into a
8.
creative direction.
Oh, 8? Okay, good.
We thought you dipped out to go watch the
I
pregame.
just put in my prompt, complete the strategy brief with new audiences, define a creative brief, pull in the right assets, and package for the creative team. I just need to link my strategy brief here and go. And you can see a plan being pulled together. And this is going to be a full execution plan. You can see building the creative brief, sourcing and generating the assets, creating an ideation board, and packaging and sending to the team. Now, of course, I could make changes, but I'm just going to get started. Let's go. And here we go. So you can see the creative agents working to build the brief and the Adobe Brand Intelligence Validation working behind the scenes.
And just like that, I have a full artifact ready to go. It has audiences, it has channels, opportunity, everything is here I need. This looks fantastic, but we only have 2 audiences and I know that we had more. So let me just ask to add additional audiences. And here we go. And what is working behind the scenes is Adobe Brand Intelligence Predict Engagement, which is telling me not just what audiences to add, but why this creative brief will resonate with them. This first one looks like a great extension. I'm going to add that. And here we go, adding into my creative brief artifact. There we go. I have a full creative brief ready to go.
That's a huge difference. And frankly, our teams at Adobe have already been doing this, taking the strategy briefs that are created, using the creative agent to convert them to a creative brief. And they started doing this recently. And I actually triple checked this answer with them. A typical creative brief would take them 3 weeks to write. They now generate it in 7 minutes. It takes about 7 minutes to generate with all the information we put in. And they do the finishing touches for about 30 minutes. And it's made a huge difference in terms of the velocity with which we're actually able to kick off campaigns and run it. Now let's talk about, once we have that brief, where do we go from there?
Great. So that's a creative brief, but I needed a full.
So my
creative
question
brief,
is,
and for that I need creative.
if you're putting
So
in
I'm
a
gonna start.
prompt that says add audiences, how is it determining what those audiences are? Where did it all come from? I mean, it's not just making up audiences, or maybe it is. Must have something that's pointing it somewhere.
Are you getting a hitting circle now?
Yeah, I am. It looks like we're getting the technology is. I was going to say it's giving us a hint, but now we're back.
Using Frame.io and Adobe Experience Manager, pulling in all of those assets, and these look great, but I want something fresh.
So I'm going to generate more images and add video. And brand intelligence validation and predict engagement are working behind the scenes to tell me these are not just on brand, but on campaign and a good fit with my audience, and they will resonate. These are looking great. I'm going to infuse my brief with this creative. So now I have a creative brief with the creative added, But I can't stop there. I am going to take this into ideation by creating a creative concept board using Adobe Firefly boards. And now collaborating is as easy as sending this to the creative team and to my creative director, Ben.
All right, so Anne, just to recap, use the creative agent to generate and develop a creative brief. She then asked the creative agent to take that brief and find assets that were used and created previously that could be relevant to this new campaign. She then asked it to generate more on-brand concepts that they could use, packaged it up as a Firefly board, and handed it off to the creative team. So now let's move to the concepting phase. Anne has already packaged this up as a set of concepts, so Ben can then pick this up directly in Firefly boards and then finish the concepting phase before moving on to design.
Thanks, David. So here I am in Firefly boards, and I can see all the different assets that Anne provided, including images and videos that I can use to help inspire our campaign here. Now, Firefly boards is an infinite canvas that allows my team to be able to collaborate in real time and create concepts. Now, I'm working on a concept here that's a travel theme, and I really like this image that Anne provided. So I'm just going to take this and bring it down here, and I'm going to riff on that. So I can take this, I'm going to create some more like this. And while that is loading, let's have a look at some of the images that we have over here. So the one on the left was the original image and some of the different variations that were created here. This is really helpful for me as a creative because it gives me ideas and inspires me to go in different directions. So scrolling out here, we can look at some of the different images that were created here, different people, different poses, just giving me some variety. All right, now let's move on to this other image that we have here. I love this image in this European city with the legend as my book, but I want to change the text to be something a little bit more travel-based, and I can do that with Firefly. What we'll see here is that it's just going to allow me to be able to select the text here, and I'm going to put in voyage and generate. And Firefly is going to understand the context of the rest of the image and blend both the text and the image together. Now, normally, this is something that I would do in Photoshop, and I would have to have some advanced skills to understand how to blend that, know what the font is, and to be honest, I just want to easily create
Taking
this
a little
so that I
time
can
there.
see if this is a creative direction that I want to go. But we'll see in a moment here. There we go. Blends those things together, and it looks amazing.
That made all the difference on the conversion rate of that campaign.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
It goes back to what I was saying before about outcomes.
What I want to do is I want to blend this image with this image here because I love the tones
Yeah,
of that.
I can see
I
why
have a
people would be
variety of
excited about
different
that.
models available for me to help. So I have Firefly, I have partner models like Nano Banana, and I also have custom models that can be trained on my own brand assets to be able to help me. Now, just for the sake of time, I generated a number of variations for me already. See how it blended that tone into there? It looks kind of nice.
Like, how many credits would that take? I'm just curious. It looks like a lot of work being processed. How does that affect pricing?
Theo, Kling, and many other models. And
You know, to Liz's point,
I can
though,
take those models
I'd
and
love
I
to
can
hear about
turn them into
companies
mock-ups.
that
I
have
can open
reduced
those up
the
in
time
Photoshop,
to create these
Illustrator, or in
creative
this case,
briefs.
I'm just going to select all of these, and I'm going to say send to Frame.io so my designers finalize those
Some of the
assets.
things, you know,
Great.
that's
So Ben has taken the concepts that Anne created.
Sorry, we heard about half of that,
He's
Keith.
refined them as the
I don't know what,
He's pushed
you know,
them
what's
all
going
into
on, but
frame, and now
it sounded like it was a great point, man.
in creative tools like Photoshop.
it was just saying where do you go from that? Yes, you can reduce the time it takes to make a creative brief, but what are you doing there? Are you then doing more work? Are you, you know, what is it that, what is the real value that you're getting
from
bottom
Firefly and
line for
Firefly
business?
boards for concepting into our flagship applications like Photoshop for creation.
Yes.
Right. So
Sounds like-
I am in Frame.io here, which is my work in progress DAM, and I can see all my different assets that were pushed into here from Firefly boards. I can take my asset here, open it up right on my computer here. Now,
That's cool.
I know this is a marketing conference, but
Very
how many
cool.
designers do we have in the audience? All right, all right. Well, I got some great things for you, because when you take your artboards from Firefly boards and bring them into Photoshop, it also retains the layers, which is great for editing. Along with that, inside of Photoshop, I have all of my great Firefly features to help me. For example, I have this cup that I have.
Now you have to have a
add into the image here.
Because I have Creative Cloud. I think mine is at $54.99 a month. I don't have any of the AI stuff in there because I think that's an additional $20 a month or something like that.
Yep.
Oh, it looks like the Wi-Fi is, or the internet connection is starting to.
I can just simply, with one click, remove the background. I can resize it to where I want to put it here. Well, that still isn't quite blended into the image, and it isn't the right angle, but that's okay, because I have the new rotate object available in Photoshop Beta that can help me with that. And what that will do is that will take my object and turn it into a 3D object that allows me to be able to just move it around like this. Now, this was a flat image. Just look at it. I'm able to take it, put it in a different angle. Let's bring it down like
But going back to your point, Keith, how much of this is going to impact conversion, and is it worth the? I don't know how much it's going to cost in terms of tokens to do this stuff. I have no idea.
We're also an hour and 37 minutes in, and we're still looking at features.
That's exactly what we call the feature. Harmonize, which allows you
that goes back to the overarching concern. There has not been a narrative that carried through the whole 97 minutes.
And really, I think it's not that Adobe is not doing good things. They are, but they're just not telling the story well.
No.
I think that's a lot of the case for a lot of these vendors. And it's kind of weird that they're not able to tell that narrative in a way that comes across positively and doesn't cause all these SaaS-pocalypse kind of weird concerns.
Well,
that's because the SaaS-pocalypse stuff, which I think is overblown, they did a great job of saying, hey, outcome, you can code, you can vibe code your CRM in 6 hours and save X number of dollars. That was the headline. The devil was in the details, but that was why I grabbed that.
So why do you think companies like Adobe and the other enterprise software companies haven't been able to find a way to tell their story?
Because like many companies, they are in love with their features. I think they just get blinded by that. I mean, every time you go to one of these things, that's the thing they always say. Hey, make sure you remember.
Guys like those amazing AI magic in Photoshop?
You just said it right there.
Yeah, he just asked. So he basically asked for an applause line because of that feature. You're right.
Yeah. Back in Frame.io.
Yeah, it's a lot of product marketing.
Not doing everything quite right, but then you instead of going.
And I get it's a lot of work that went into what they do, but they still have to have a great narrative to tell the story and to show how important that thing is.
Assets in place. Now we have to go and go through the process.
The other thing that is kind of dawning on me, because I'm looking at this as a campaign,
and seamlessly send her comments.
And yes, great to see that they can accelerate the time of the brief.
I have a curated view that gives my creative team and
I don't see like how they've connected the messaging of this campaign to the graphics.
This with the white background, I'm not
very
sure
focused on the graphics.
Change it to red.
And it's kind of like the old story that there's Creative Cloud and then there's Experience Cloud, and this should have been one end-to-end story, not just
and let them know to change
and Neil coming up there and doing a demo,
and then I love the picture
David
that
going up there and doing a demo. They're still siloed off on
like a sunset,
two different lines
and
of
then
business.
this text I think could be shorter.
And they haven't addressed one of the bigger issues that people are having is how much is this stuff going to cost me if I use this? I mean, it looks great, but I mean, some of the issues that Adobe has going into this event was the pricing around their their usual platform, the Creative Cloud, the Experience Cloud, and all that. But then the pricing of the Firefly on top of that has caused a lot of consternation, and I haven't addressed any of that.
Already approved this text.
I mean, this is the other side is
Again,
this
I can go
sending.
into
I mean,
Photoshop and make these changes,
look,
but I'm just
we
very
saw
open here.
Adobe
What
Enterprise,
the
Adobe
just read all the comments
Experience
and make
Enterprise,
changes,
but
except
the problem
that
is the
one
signals are
comment
still
that
being
Ann
sent as
made
Gen
about
AI
the
signals for
text.
Photoshop,
Give that a
right?
quick
I mean,
moment
it's the kind of
so I
signal
can
you're still
analyze
getting is
those
watching them build
comments.
prompts,
Right.
right?
Work
Over and
for
over and
the
over,
end.
prompt.
We'll see in a quick
We're not
moment
looking at
here.
collaborate.
There
We're
we
looking at
go.
the collaboration is,
And
okay, I did
we
my
can see
prompt, so I'm
all
going
of
to
that.
send it to
We can
you,
see it change
right?
the
And
image,
it's
the
just,
background,
they're not showing
all those
collaborative
different
capabilities.
changes.
They're not
It's,
showing the
I can just
broader
feel the amount
integrations
of
all that
time
well
I'm
with the
saving
outside world.
on a
Doesn't have,
daily basis.
Charles
So
Ramada
Ann
come on and
commented
talk about
in,
Microsoft a
even
little
for
bit.
your head of sales, very excited about
They're
this.
just not.
Ann commented on
They're
the
not
hero
putting
accent.
this together in a way that's meaningful.
Ben, being a creative professional, got a little defensive. He didn't like all of them.
Let's
but
see,
he-
Liz is in the room. Biggest laugh so far.
that he needed
You know,
to
Ann, I
make.
love feedback.
Again, saved
Okay.
a ton of time. Now that we have the assets,
They could be
ready
getting our
and your
feedback. I
assets
don't know.
done, we talked about this. You then need to be able to scale these assets.
I mean, it's always such a
and reach
shame because this is this
thousands of
company that
people,
always
many,
has
many
this infinite
segments,
potential.
and be able to do it
Right?
quickly
It's like
and on
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So with that, let's talk about how the creative agent.
And then once again,
All right.
not
So,
only not telling
I
the
go back
the
here,
story in an
all these
effective
assets
way,
are looking good, and I wanna
the
now
story you're
localize
telling is
these
taking
for
so
different
long.
regions. And
It
I,
just
once
feels
again,
like
just go right in here into
it's
my creative
they
agent.
missed a
And in
great
this case,
opportunity
I'm
to
going
put
ask it to
something together,
take the selected
concise,
files,
succinct,
localize them into the
on
correct
point,
languages
and that
based
could
on my brand
showcase all this
guidelines.
stuff in a much
And
more
when I
effective
submit
way.
that is going
You
to
know,
be
I would say that
the
while
Firefly
Canva's stuff had its issues,
define the right
it was
workflow to
presented
localize
in a
those
much more
into
succinct
different
manner.
languages,
And
and then
that's
it's
something
also
that
going to take
I think,
that
you
and
know,
use brand
if you
intelligence.
had to go back and ask me, what did I hear today? I might have trouble remembering.
And then take those and bring those
I'm
over
almost
to
forgetting that Jensen was in this. Was that long?
localized folder here.
Well, we have this feature, and we have this feature.
We're
and
an
this
hour and
feature,
40 in.
this
We
feature,
haven't
and
heard
this
from
feature,
one
and this
customer
feature.
yet.
And we have 3 use cases, which are 3
And look at
features.
that, all the different variations. that
We
are
only saw the Home
created
Depot demo,
in
but we didn't
days.
actually hear directly from a customer. You're right.
Great. Thank you, Ben. Thank
That's
you, Ann.
in an hour and
Work on this.
45 minutes or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So what we
not
wanted to
good.
do was give you a glimpse into the future.
Hey, I have to
in
start
full
intermittently fasting at 7:30, so they better move this.
and creative production. We saw a
And some of
You
this
got-
Gen Studio stuff is not,
and a
they
creative
showed that 2
working
years ago.
together.
Right.
Human-led and agent-accelerated. All the way from the brief to the creative concept to the hero design to the review and revision.
I am surprised at what we've seen and how we've seen it so
And this
far.
isn't just a magical
Just-
demo on stage. They weren't just kind of showing you old videos that we had created. We are doing this at Adobe, and the very first campaign that was built this way has already gone live. So we're very excited about the potential of what this means and where we go from here. Now, one of the companies that's been on this journey with us for many years, especially the last few years, is NBCU. And I'd love for you to hear from them. So please welcome Ashish Desai,
Wow.
NBCU's Executive Vice President.
A customer almost 2 hours in.
Yeah.
Welcome to the beginning.
Big time.
Incredible. This is what you need
Yeah.
to be.
This is not the best use of this time. This keynote.
That was awesome. Worldwide phenomenon. Golden once again. Touchdown.
I remember when I first started going to these things, and I was really impressed at what they did.
Me too.
And it just doesn't feel like that anymore.
No.
Maybe we should make it quick.
And it has nothing to do with the technology. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
Again.
Well, it's that lack of a through narrative that really tells the story they need to be telling to their enterprise customers. It's just, I'm not hearing it.
This gets weirder and weirder.
Oh my God.
What we are most proud of is our connection to you.
God, this is also the longest introduction I've ever seen for a customer.
Yeah.
It's every show. Sadly, I recognize every show.
I was waiting to see.
Oh,
I was waiting to see some clips of Cheers and Seinfeld.
that's right. The history of NBC.
Is a very large. And,
Oh man, when you do a sit down, you know this is at least 10, 15 minutes.
Licensed
Yeah, well,
IP rights. You have
I'm
talent
happy to call it a
agreements, you have
day at
content rights that you have
7.
to adhere to, you have
Yeah, because we have to do our wrap up. I mean,
Yeah, we do.
the shape of what you guys do is absolutely amazing at the scale of what you do it. How does all of this complexity and just the number of things you have to do shape how you are approaching AI as you're leading this for the company?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, David, for having me here today. As you can see from the sizzle, MVCU is a really large, multifaceted.
We'll give him 5 minutes.
Spanning everything from motion picture films to producing the largest sporting events in the world.
Hey, KD,
Most recently in
Ron.
legendary
Injured.
February, the Olympics and the
Yeah,
Super
he's
Bowl.
out.
We powered
KD's out
large-scale
for this
consumer
playoff.
platforms.
Right next to him was Thunder, who destroyed them last night.
Yeah, good old Shay.
Parks and attractions all over the globe.
Hey, Steph is
for
there.
Universal Destinations and Experiences Division. Most recently launching Epic Universe in Orlando. If you haven't checked it out.
See, this is the problem of having a customer this long into it. I can't really concentrate heavily on this. I'm looking at Steph in a picture.
The thing that underpins that entire strategy and underpins the whole
I
company.
mean, I really think they should have had Jensen go on last, and somehow, I don't
So
know.
you can imagine as we're thinking about AI in a company like
It just
ours,
doesn't feel like this was
really exciting and really
completely thought out the best way.
We've always been a company that
In
leads
I have a disconnect here as somebody is.
and we're also
You've got this Adobe Summit is meant to be
our values and
the digital experience business
and that's why Adobe was
conference.
such an important early.
You've got the president of the Creative Cloud interviewing the first customer.
The creative community, which is very important to us as well. And the Firefly model being
That's a disconnect for me is
only licensed IP and
what,
public domain.
unless Wadwani is going to be the next guy. I don't know, but
It allowed us to have a safe place.
this should be at Adobe Summit much more focused on the digital experience business and not all this Creative Cloud stuff.
One of the things that I think
I mean, the guys who are there, who are sellers, they don't get credit for selling the Creative Cloud.
companies need to start with individual pilots in different.
I wonder if he's going to
But I
close
think
this
you and the
out.
Team were very focused on making
Like
sure
if
that,
he's the one that
the word
closes
you're
out,
using
that
is raise the
would
floor
be
for the whole
a
company
little odd
with
if
AI.
it's just
You now have
not
over
Max.
2,000
This is
creatives
Summit.
using Firefly in real production workflows, from promos to on-air graphics to campaign assets. Tell us a little bit about what it took to get here, how we had to work together, and what has changed because of it.
Yeah, so one of our core goals when it comes to AI across WCU is to build an AI-ready organization. That's a really large challenge in broad enterprises. And we're doing that through focused enablement programs. That includes access to tools and technologies, education.
He would have been so much better to listen to earlier on.
Evolve ways of working across the various
15
functions of
minutes in.
WCU. And across the creative workflows, particularly in marketing, Firefly was the foundation for that strategy. Along with our marketing executives who have really leaned in to this journey, we thought it was important to be opinionated about the platform and the technology, but not prescriptive about the way it was being used. We have incredibly talented professionals who are creatives by nature. We didn't want to prescribe how they were using it. So it was important we provided broad access and then had them come back applying it to their day-to-day workflows, whether it was on their marketing or graphics or promotional materials, and show us how AI could transform the way they're working. And honestly, what we've seen in that journey is just really impressive. A small example of that is, I think, playing behind us right now, but everything from stylized logos by seasonality to new artwork and images and assets that are highlighting our franchises and new content releases, to entirely new ways of concepting and storyboarding as we're developing new content. And that goes all the way through the iteration of studio set design and production designs. With something like Firefly, you're able to much more quickly iterate on those design concepts and fail fast and succeed fast as well. And so, that was part of the journey, David. It was the deployment to 2,000 creatives. The other thing I think that was really differentiated, it was a key partnership with you, was focused rollout plans, change management. It's the boring word. It's so important when it comes to AI right now. We had focused AI Adobe days across our core locations where we brought Adobe experts, product managers.
So Liz is saying, random from the floor. For some reason, the heater is on here. It is hot in this room and not hot vibes. And
Communities come together and talk about new ways.
That's pretty telling there, Liz. The vibes are not hot.
Product roadmap. which in this day and age,
They usually turn up the AC in those rooms to keep everybody awake.
FOMO of all the tools out there grows every single
Look,
day.
I just would have had to leave. I think I would have left
Really important, I think,
because this
for
is so
everyone
long
understand
to
is
be
that,
in that room.
This is not a situation in a world that's static enough for us to just drop some product off, at your doorstep.
Oh wow,
We
that
are
must really be
working
bad.
with all of our core enterprise customers with forward deployed engineers, integrated services.
Paying
We are
for
making sure that what
stay
we are
for the
working
new
with
one.
you is as dynamic as the market is to deliver the outcomes you need to. And
I don't know. I don't know who he is.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Josh, Bernie.
There was a little sarcasm in there.
Yeah, there's some snark in there.
Multiplying what
Come on,
you
Josh and Bernie.
but
Josh and
it has
Bernie,
to open
find
up
us on
new
LinkedIn.
opportunities that simply
I'm trying to remember. Has these keynotes, have they always been this long?
No, I don't remember.
They have been over the last few years. They've been 2 hours blocked out, and by the end of it, you're
need more customization. Those
really
are all
starting to feel the middle-aged bodily.
at the scale. And
Well, see, that's the problem. I'm
so one of
76,
the
so
unlocks
that's
for us
really
has been
bad.
the custom models
I'll
for
feel
your
younger if it feels
And Keith, this is the first time I know that it's been in the afternoon. It's usually
That too.
right
Yeah.
after like a early morning session at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock until 11.
Yep.
Yeah, that feels better actually.
And with
Because
each
this time of day,
a new opportunity to drive new consumer experiences, new
Well,
features,
like that famous Oracle speech
ways
with,
of
where
enticing the
Larry
consumer.
started at 6 p.m. on Sunday.
what about the one with SAS Dr. Goodnight? It was a Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night.
Oh,
I don't know
that
what
was
they
brutal.
goes through their heads.
In some ways.
Mm.
When we
That
launched
was
the
so
NBA,
brutal.
we launched a new feature called Courtside Live, and as we're heading to the Olympics, which was just a couple months later, the Peacock team came and said, "How do we leverage?
We need to
everything
wrap
we
this
just built
up.
for the
Yeah,
NBA
I'm right there with you.
and scale that for the Olympics?"
All right.
So we decided.
Do you think we should just wrap this up now, or do you want to?
Every
Well,
single
I've tuned
aspect
out of him. I don't even know what he's saying at this
This
point.
was hard work by the creators. They had their intent.
I know something about the Olympics.
Brand guidelines, the style.
I really want to see how they close
Let me
this.
see how they get to the top of the hour in 8 minutes. And
Oh yeah, we might as well finish out the full 2 hours at this
As I said,
point.
I got till 7:30. That's it.
Features like Ringside Live, social.
Then
I'm hoping they'll
I'm
go.
on the food clock.
These were elements that were created out of a
Yeah.
foundation.
Oh, that's right. You got.
Leveraging the
and
general
tomorrow, Paul, we got
30.
image and video.
Paul. Tomorrow we got Cam up in Boston.
I know this could be amazing. Given that he's a Boston kid who is sending death threats.
Accelerated. It's
Threats
by
to
the ability to tap into what's already unique about a company like ours. And our marketing
I feel sorry for this guy because I think he's telling a really interesting story, but it's just hard
And I
to
think I
concentrate at
just
this
close
point.
by saying thank you for everything
I
you
heard
guys
close.
have done in terms of the partnership.
The key word.
best thing about this relationship and the relationship I know we have with many of you is as we go through this dynamic time, the combination of us and our customers is what's really driving the platform we're developing.
Yeah,
So thank you, Ashish.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
Hey.
I think he's closing it.
All right, so every one of your companies is clearly on this journey. Some of you are just getting started. Others of you are well on your way. But just know we're here to help with the technology we've been developing over decades, with the new capabilities, whether it's coworkers or agents or brand intelligence. And that foundation is how we're going to bring things to you. Now, as a reminder, we had 2 big announcements in this section. If you're interested in learning more, talk to your reps or talk to us about Adobe Brand Intelligence capabilities and the new Adobe Creative Agent, which is now available through Firefly Creative Production. So thank you all for your time. I'll now hand it back to Anil.
Well, that was his big announcement for the Creative Cloud side.
That's amazing.
I missed it.
Thank you, David. Really exciting.
All right, here this should be the
Gen
close.
Studio and Adobe CX Enterprise. And huge thank you to Ashish and the NBCU team for their partnership. Really impressive, world-class content and customer experiences.
Oh,
It's a terrific example of how we work closely with customers to align our business model with the success of your business goals. Now, Adobe's own marketing organization has been a trailblazer in digital marketing and customer experience for well over a decade. And an amazing design partner.
He sounds like he's winding up for
CX
something.
Enterprise.
he is.
And Xfinity has been a great design
Oh my gosh,
for us as we have developed.
we're done at 7. I'm sorry.
So I'm excited to welcome Adobe's Chief Marketing Officer, Laura Balazs, and Xfinity Chief Growth Officer, John Giselman, to the stage for a discussion on strategic priorities for Chief Marketing Officers in the era of agentic AI. Welcome, Laura.
You gotta be kidding me.
We don't take enough time to.
And they're gonna have a 5-minute video on top of that too.
The fun kind.
Tell you
of
what, when the video ends, since it looks pretty
Right. Let's just see who these people are.
well, I can tell you, I can tell you, there was Wicked.
Put all of your streaming apps in one place. At your
Is
beck and
Xfinity?
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, freaking highway robbers.
And what if that same Wi-Fi
That was
went
that. What's that show? Hospital. Some
I
hospital.
think Michael is done.
Liz just said something about that.
and it gave you an
Yeah.
access to one of your phones?
Yes, we know, Liz. I can't imagine how being in a hot room for
Where-
2 hours is going over.
I'm sorry you're stuck there, Liz. We're wrapping up.
Yeah, I just want to see these people come on stage and see, and then I'm out. We could get to our final thoughts. Wow, and this is still a long video.
But your data too. Now imagine all of that in one simple place. Working together in the smartest
Xfinity cut all my costs in half.
ET. Oh,
Imagine that.
all right, good enough.
That's pretty cool.
All right, folks. We're gonna say goodbye, so we can get our final thoughts in. So let me take care of this, and let's. All right, 2 hours, man. Almost just short of 2 hours, and they're still going. All right, Michael, what do you think?
I just don't feel like I saw anything new. I just feel like it was. I didn't go last year. I went 2 years ago in 24, and it was 2 years. I had left in 22, into 22, so I'd already been gone for almost 2 years, and I just didn't see anything new and didn't have a lot of excitement or questions answered in terms of what the future looks like. And so that's and still the disconnect of who's up there, what the run of show is, and when is there ever going to be a true, what we used to call one Adobe, and being an end-to-end from Creative Cloud all the way to the end of the experience, because they're still thinking in these silos. And if you want me to eat from the elephant, then you need to show me how that's going to work from beginning to end. And it still seems very fragmented.
All right, before Keith goes, I'm going to pop up what Liz said here and read it. Final thought: the actual products and announcements are actually hot. So is the room, apparently. Brand intelligence and the agents are where this needs to head. Love the updates. This summit felt off and didn't bring that strength of vision to life.
Fair enough.
I think we can agree. I could agree to all of what she said. But Keith, what do you say?
Yeah, I've been saying it the whole time here. I felt like they have a lot of missed opportunity, particularly around how is Adobe differentiating themselves. I mean, talk about brand safety. Talk about the fact that Adobe has this wealth of knowledge, experience. They weren't leaning into that. And then, of course, again, to this other point, how does everything fit together? That's a missed opportunity to tell that story, because that's something that their competitors, I feel like, are going to exploit by them not addressing this. To me, it still sounds like it's a less of a platform story, even though they have it, but they're not telling it in an appropriate way. So again, I think Adobe is doing the right things. They're just not. They're just not telling the story the right way. And maybe it's because Shantanu is on the way out, and they just don't. Maybe they just weren't able to come together to do that.
BG?
Well, I mean, on the one hand, I agree with both Michael and Keith. In addition, and I did find that at least the mention of Adobe Enterprise important. Beyond that, honestly, I mean, if this was minimally one of their more important keynotes, they did nothing whatsoever to allay a fear, indicate a direction forward of any consequence. They treated it like it was just any other year, any other time. And honestly, as I said, they were middle of the pack in the AI at best, and they didn't do anything to show me they're moving any further with it at all. Basically, they did anything they needed to do to provide table stakes, and that's great. Now, that said, it's good that they're providing table stakes because you have to,
Yes.
right? But beyond that, I saw nothing that gave me a whole lot of confidence that they're going to become a leader of any kind, really, in this whole thing. They'll still, I mean, do well, but not at the level they really should be.
One thing that just dawned on me, because they talk about the enterprise, but we talked about this a little bit before in terms of the pricing and the cost of the solution and the licensing. I mean, who else but the enterprise can even afford most of this stuff?
Right.
So,
Right.
you're like branding to your existing customer base already.
Yeah, I think we really go back to last year when Adobe Summit and NVIDIA GTC opening keynotes were literally at the same time. And we were talking about the importance of the keynotes, and then we looked at, wow, how is that? We actually literally did a watch party for both at the same time. And I noticed at the end of the day, the amount of views that Adobe Summit had was like 3,800. The amount of views that NVIDIA GTC had at the end of the day was 38 million. And it felt like they approached it differently than Adobe did in a number of ways. It really felt like they understood the moment and the opportunity to speak to not just the folks in the room, but to 38 million people that were viewing it virtually. Oh, everybody okay?
Yeah.
Fast. So every opening keynote, we've really emphasized it and even posted a lot of stuff on CR Magazine based on these watch parties. So going into this one, we were literally saying this one might be the most consequential opening keynote for a vendor since we've been doing these tech, watch parties. High expectations. I think they really missed a big opportunity here. I think a lot of people had eyes on them to see exactly what this is going to be. So I think it was ChatGPT of all things made a note that said, you know what, as big as earnings and earnings calls are, those are backward looking. This keynote was an opportunity to provide a vision, a forward looking vision, and to create a narrative that can be kind of looked forward and checked to see how things are going. And as great as the technology seems to be, that story, that narrative was completely missing in this one.
Yes.
And I think they did themselves a bit of a disservice by not really taking full advantage of this time. I mean, that's the big takeaway for me. There's a lot of, we can go into detail, but that's the biggest take. They really had a big opportunity. They had Jensen on there. They had this great tech. And that 2 hours, it didn't hit the mark.
Well, they need to plan the actual keynote, to Michael's point, run of show a lot better.
Yes.
A lot better. 54 minutes in, we finally see Adobe Enterprise.
Yeah.
Still.
And that customer looked like I think he was the right kind of customer because he looked passionate about what they were doing. But I mean, it was hard to concentrate when you're 2 hours in. It's
too long.
And we left, and there was still another customer. I mean, they're rolling out the customers 2 hours into an event. That's not good planning.
No.
Yeah, Liz's comment right here. Bye all. Still here in the keynote. Send snacks.
Send help is more like it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We'll send an extraction team.
Right.
Well, all right. Anybody, any other things before we head out?
Nope. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And the game is coming on too.
That's
All right.
Fuck.
So big thanks to Michael Klein and Keith Kirkpatrick for hanging out 2 hours and big thanks to our in-room correspondent, the hot Liz Miller. And I guess I should clarify that I'm talking about the temperature in the room apparently. But we thank her for adding her commentary as well. And we should send snacks, but they might not get there in time, Liz. So but yeah, that's it. We'll see you Thursday because we have no BS Thursday with Bob Stutz coming up. So we'll talk to you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.